Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled session of the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. We have a quorum present with Council Members Karn, Arnold, and Gay. And Councilmember McKenzie, we are at full quorum. And so at this time, I will call the meeting to order at 7:32 p.m. And the first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chaplain Dent will be doing our invocation this evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and all who are present. Let us pray. Eternal God, creator of every nation and author of every good and perfect gift, we honor you tonight. We thank you for the city of College Park, for its history, its diversity, its resilience, and its promise. In this month of March, as seasons begin to shift and new life begins to rise, we ask that you would breathe fresh vision and fresh unity into this city. Knit us together across generations, cultures, and backgrounds. Though we are a multicultural community, help us honor every story and every contribution that shapes our city. Lord, we pray that you'll bless our mayor, council members, city manager, department heads, and every public servant gathered here. Your word says in Proverbs 11, where there's no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. Let decisions made in this room promote equity and opportunity for all. Make College Park a city that repairs breaches, restores trust, and rebuilds hope. We pray for the economic vitality, that businesses flourish, that families find sustainable opportunity, that young people see a future here. And God, according to your word, we seek the peace and prosperity of the city, for as it prospers, so shall we prosper. Lord, guide conversations tonight. Where there are challenges, grant solutions. Where there's vision, grant provision. Let this community reflect your love. We commit this meeting, this month of March, and the future of College Park into your hands. And we pray this in the name of God the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And all who agree say amen.
Amen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Wonderful citizens of College Park. I will be reading the Civility Pledge. The way we govern ourselves is often as important as the positions we take. Our collective decisions will be better when differing views have had the opportunity to be fully vetted and considered. All people have the right to be treated with respect, courtesy, and openness. We value all input. We commit to conduct ourselves at all times with civility and courtesy to each other.
Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city manager, citizens, visitors. I'd like to share a brief fire safety message with you. In the event of a fire or emergency, please remain calm and proceed to the nearest exit. Exit signs are clearly marked throughout the building. 2 are to the front and 2 are to the rear. Follow the direction of College Park staff to designated assembly areas. Once outside, please remain in the assembly area until further instructions are given by city personnel. If you notice smoke or fire during the meeting, please alert staff and follow evacuation instructions. Your safety is our priority. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Chief.
Agenda item 2, additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda.
All right. Are there any?
Mayor, I have one,
Okay.
that item 9A and 9B be moved to the, regular agenda.
All right, and we have actually not been following Robert's Rules of Order in that regard. The consent calendar or consent agenda under 41-32 of Robert's Rules allows for any member of the body, if they object to an item being on the consent agenda, for it to be removed to regular business. So that, as a matter of his objection, that is an objection?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so 9A and 9B will move to 10 10E and 10F.
Point of order, Mayor. That is not the protocol we have been following at all. If someone requests a consent agenda item to be removed, it has to be voted on. We have Robert's Rules of Order, and there are different variations of that in the same book. We followed that, and unless we're gonna change that, then no one's gonna arbitrarily change a rule up here because they wanna just change a rule arbitrarily up here.
You're correct, sir. And item, and 41-:32 of Robert's Rules of Order, which this body has chosen to adopt and they've adopted variations to that as written. This is not one of those that is written. So in that case, we follow Robert's Rules of Order. 41-32 says any member of the body who objects to something being on the consent agenda can have it removed.
That's
So
not
we,
the case at all, Mayor.
It
We
is-
adapt variations, and we've adapted
sir,
variations of
you have
Robert's
not been
rules.
recognized, and I'm happy to recognize you, but 41-32, legislatures, city, town, or county councils, or other assemblies which have a heavy workload, including a large number of routine or non-controversial matters, may find a consent calendar a useful tool for disposing of such items of business. Commonly, when such a matter has been introduced or reported by a committee for consideration in the assembly, its sponsor, or sometimes an administrator, may seek to have it placed on the consent calendar. This calendar is called over periodically at a point established in the agenda by special rule of order, at least preceding standing committee reports. The matters listed on it are taken up in order unless objected to, in which case they are restored to the ordinary process by which they are placed in line for consideration on the regular agenda. And so those two items, 9A and 9B, we will put as items 10E and 10F.
Mayor,
Are there
no,
any?
Yes, there are comments. No, we will necessarily not do that.
Okay.
We have adopted dozens and dozens of parts of Robert's Rules, and there are dozens of parts that we have not adopted. So that is not the case.
Councilmember,
at
I've
all.
not acknowledged you, and I would ask that if you can cite to the specific point at which this body has adopted something other than this for consent agendas, please point that to me. But as the chair, at Robert's Rules of Order apply, and we are going by 41-32.
If I
So,
can comment now?
Councilmember Carn, go right ahead.
Right. Again, point of order. I heard what you're saying. But at this point, I'd like to make a motion that we continue with the consent agenda protocols as we have before. And that's my motion.
And what is that specifically?
City manager, city attorney, the same way we have been doing this consent agenda since we adopted a consent agenda. Which means if someone objects, they can state their objections, and we vote on the final agenda with the changes or without them.
At what point do we state our objections?
You,
You just did.
is there a second to Councilmember Carn's motion? Motion dies for lack of a second. So 41-32, anyone can pull it off. We'll move those to 10E and 10F. Any other additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda that would take a motion?
Point of clarification,
Councilmember
I-
Arnold?
can we please get the parliamentarian to clarify exactly what the process is?
Robert's Rules of Order provides that any member of the body can remove an item from the consent agenda. For an item to be on the consent agenda requires unanimous assent of the members. As Councilman Carn correctly points out, that has not been our practice. Almost since we've had a consent agenda, what we've been doing is making a motion to amend the agenda, including adding items to or removing items from the consent agenda, and one member has not unilaterally made that decision, but rather it has required a vote of the entire governing body. Councilman Carn's position is we should continue with making these adjustments to the agenda based on the vote of the council. The mayor's point is that under Robert's rules, it does not require a vote of the council. Rather, a single member can say, I want an item removed from the consent agenda, and since it's no longer unanimous, that item has to come off the consent agenda and go to the regular agenda to be vetted and discussed. That's the lay of the land. But the mayor is correct on the letter of Robert's rules. Councilman Carn is correct in that we have not followed Robert's rules ever since we started with a consent agenda almost 2 years ago.
Well, again, I would recommend that we do stick to that rule that we have been following. Now, if we change the rule
Councilmember?
to be in.
Councilmember, I would ask that again, I haven't acknowledged you, but, your motion died for lack of a second. So,
If I could please finish.
go right ahead, go and you have the floor.
I wanted to make sure everyone got an understanding of what we're talking about here. The other thing is this: if anybody can arbitrarily remove everything or anything or everything they want off the consent agenda, then we defeat the purpose of having a consent agenda. Because going by that logic, I could say, well, we'll take everything off the consent agenda, and we don't even have one, and everyone else can. Now, I understand if people want to take things off, and that's understandable, but the whole body has to agree, and I think that's the most democratic way to do it.
Thank you, sir. All right,
So
so,
what I would like to get a clear understanding for and restate my motion in a different manner where I hope everyone can understand it, is that we continue along the lines of the consent agenda as we have before, where no one person says that goes and this stays. Instead, the collective body decides what goes on the consent agenda or what does not go on the consent agenda.
Mayor, the motion died already for
you, hold on, Councilmember Gay, I haven't acknowledged you. And so, go ahead, Councilman Carn, make your motion.
So I'm restating my motion again, where the decisions in terms of consent agenda are collective by the body as opposed to an individual.
All right, is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. So, item 10E will be the old 9A, and that is the contract for, I believe that, give me one moment here. That's professional service agreement with Ulysses Grady. And 10F will be the PSA for the city planner for strategic planning initiatives. Any other changes to the agenda?
Madam Mayor?
I do have a change to the agenda as well.
Councilmember Carn, and then Madam Clerk.
Going by that logic, I would motion that we remove everything off the consent agenda and place it on the regular agenda.
Okay. All right, so 9C now becomes 10G, the SCAD contract. And 9D, the department head now becomes H. And 9E becomes 10I, which is the contractual services for Nova Engineering. And, I'm sorry, 9F becomes 10HIJ, 10J, okay? And that is the consideration for Amadeus, the renewal of Amadeus. And 10K is the previous 9G to extend the Airport West CID.
I have one more, Mayor.
Okay, give me one moment here. We got one more. JKL, 10L is now the Youth Civic Advisory Board travel. And Councilmember Gay, I had called on Ms. Bogner before, so I will come to you right afterwards. Ms. Bogner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Staff requests removal of agenda item 8A.
8A is?
The request to set a public hearing to amend Appendix A zoning, Article 12, boards and commissions,
Okay.
as well as 8B, the request to set a public hearing to amend Appendix A, the zoning, Article 1, basic provisions, and Article 3, zoning districts, intents, uses, and standards for short-term rentals
Okay.
and rent by the room housing, as well as removing item 10D,
Okay.
which is the consideration of action on a request to approve an ordinance pertaining to short-term rentals
Okay.
And 9H, there's an update to the GL account number. It should read 100 1150 52 62 30.
And that's the previous 9H, which is now that is 10L, correct? Youth Civic Advisory Board?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, all right. Okay, so everything's been removed from the consent agenda. We are also removing items 8A, 8B, 10D, and in addition to the new 10L, the Youth Civic Advisory Board, that GL number is 100 1150 52 6230. Is there a motion?
Just want a clarification. You said 10D, not 10B, right?
Correct. D is in dog.
Okay.
All right, so is there a motion for those 4 items?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. That is unanimous. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next agenda item 4A, consideration of an action on request approving award 2 board appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. This item is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Joe Carn.
Councilmember Carn, who's your appointee?
I'll be appointing Mr. Timothy Spencer to the Planning Commission.
This is Board of Zoning Appeals.
I'm sorry, Board of Zoning and Appeals, excuse me.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Item 5A, workshop session minutes dated February 16th, 2026.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Item 5B, regular session minutes dated February 16th, 2026.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Councilmember McKenzie?
Okay, packet page number 92, line 1306. It should say negotiate up to the fair market value for purchase of 41/2022, not of the highest appraisal. That was not my motion. So we need to remove of the highest appraisal.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those, I'm sorry? I thought I heard something. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait. Councilmember Arnold, did you
Was
have
this
further
the
discussion?
motion for,
Can you make sure your microphone is closer?
okay. No, good.
Okay, all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous. All right, we've got some new employees to meet.
Item 6A, introduction of new employees in the month of February 2026.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would like for our new employees for the month of February to come up and introduce themselves by telling us their name and their department.
Name Douglas Harvey Jr., Department, College Park Police Department. Name Tiara Racine, College Park Police Department.
Hello, my name is Jarmal Dawsey, and I'm with the fire department.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Bostic, and I'm with the fire department.
Wow, excellent job. All right, group.
I don't want to split up police and fire, but
No, that's a good idea. That's an excellent idea. It's not the first time. All right, on the count of three, group. 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Last time, a little happier. Perfect. Good.
Thank you. Go. All right, hold on. All right, one more. And one more. There you go. Good file. Thank you.
Next item is Employee All-Star of the Month recognition, February 2026.
All right. So this employee joined the City of College Park in March 2011 and has shown outstanding leadership initiative and has made an impact on our public safety team. She has been instrumental in transforming the Special Operations Traffic Division by improving productivity, strengthening accountability, and enhancing overall effectiveness. Under her leadership, the unit has contributed to a significant slowdown in criminal activity in the key areas of the city, including Old National Parkway, College View Hills, and the Main Street corridor. Her strategic direction and proactive approach have produced meaningful results that directly benefit the College Park community. She demonstrates exceptional leadership, maintains order, and ensures safety during critical incidents. Her professionalism, composure, and unwavering commitment to the citizens exemplify high standards and dedication. Please join me in congratulating Lieutenant Jean Robinson on this well-deserved recognition.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Chief, would you join us? All right, group. 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Good. We're good.
Next agenda item is recognition for ABIDA board member Lisa Parker, Ward 2. Next is a proclamation recognizing Johnny Marie Williams. This item is sponsored by Councilwoman Dr. Jamel McKenzie and Mayor Pro Tem Joe Karn.
Now, y'all know Miss Johnny's my shining star, but she's an everyday star. And so we love you, Miss Johnny. She is truly a legacy and an icon here in the City of College Park. So I'm gonna read this. City of College Park proclamation for Miss Johnny Marie Williams. Whereas Miss Johnny Marie Williams, a proud native of the state of Georgia, has faithfully called the City of College Park home for the past 27 years, returning from Texas to reinvest her life and leadership into the community she cherishes. And whereas through her distinguished professional career, Ms. Williams has exemplified dedication and excellence, serving in accounting with Atlanta Gas Light and human resources at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and in administrative leadership with AGI in Atlanta, contributing her skills and integrity across multiple industries. And whereas Ms. Williams was united in marriage to the late Irvin Williams, who faithfully served for 35 years in administration with Northwest Airlines, later Delta Airlines, and together they built a legacy of love, faith, and family. And whereas they raised 3 devoted sons, Irvin Williams Jr., Eric Williams, and Dexter Williams, and Miss Johnny continues to be a proud and loving mother, grandmother to 4 grandchildren, and great-grandmother to 1 great-grandchild, serving as the matriarch of a strong and vibrant family. And whereas Mrs. Williams is a faithful member of Headland Heights United Methodist Church, a congregation founded by her great-grandmother, reflecting her deep-rooted spiritual heritage and generational commitment to faith and service. And whereas, guided by her personal motto, if you see something, say something, Ms. Williams has demonstrated unwavering civic engagement, consistently advocating for transparency, accountability, and progress within the city of College Park, and I'm thankful for you. And whereas, as a concerned and active citizen living in Ward 1, she has worked collaboratively with council members to strengthen this city and has been a staunch advocate for city employees and equitable salaries. And she remains deeply committed to ensuring that College Park continues to grow, to thrive, and to welcome new residents. And whereas Mrs. Williams values community, cherishes her neighbors, and exemplifies the spirit of involvement, communication, and service that helps build a stronger and more connected College Park. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the mayor pro tem, and the city council of the city of College Park, Georgia, that we do hereby recognize Ms. Johnny Marie Williams for her dedicated service, civic advocacy, family leadership, and enduring commitment to making College Park a better place for all. Proclaimed this 2nd day of March, 2026. And we appreciate you. You got to say something.
I want to say thank you to all of you, and I do appreciate this.
Give me a hold your purse for the photo, so you don't have it. I won't. Somebody search this. I got it. Yeah, tilt it forward just a little bit more towards me. Perfect. We're gonna do it a couple ways. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Lower the proclamation down just a little bit. There we go. Good. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Next item is a proclamation recognizing Garland Watkins. This item is sponsored by Councilwoman Dr. Jamel McKenzie.
We just had our Black History program and we celebrated unsung heroes in the city of College Park. But this gentleman that I'm about to present this proclamation is truly one of the unsung heroes of the city of College Park, with a family that dates back to the beginnings of College Park. And he has worked tirelessly to make sure that we preserve the history. And I truly appreciate you. I got involved in the Historical Society while you were the president, and we just appreciate you tremendously. The proclamation reads, City of College Park Proclamation to Mr. Garland Watkins. Whereas Mr. Garland Watkins is a proud native and lifelong son of the city of College Park, Georgia, having grown up in the very community that helped shape his character, values, and lifelong commitment to history and education. And whereas Mr. Watkins attended Georgia Military Academy and graduated from College Park High School and is one of 9 family members with ties to Georgia Military Academy and its successor, which is Woodward Academy, reflecting a deep and enduring family legacy in education within our city. Garland is a graduate of the University of Georgia and earned a master's degree in technical communication from what is now Kennesaw State University, demonstrating his commitment to academic excellence and lifelong learning. And whereas Mr. Watkins dedicated 33 years of professional service to Delta Airlines, primarily in training and development, and following his retirement, continued his impactful work with SunTrust and UPS, contributing his expertise in leadership and organizational development. And whereas Garland possesses a deep appreciation for sports, home stewardship, and community life, and is especially passionate about the rich history of College Park, particularly the transformative years of 1890 through 1900, when the city evolved from its original industrial vision as Manchester to a thriving community centered on genteel living and higher education. And whereas, since relocating to College Park as a senior citizen in 2007, Mr. Watkins has found great joy in residing in the historic Watkins home on Rugby Avenue, adjacent to the main entrance of Woodward Academy, a treasured residence that has housed 5 generations of the Watkins family and stands as a living testament to the city's architectural and cultural heritage. And whereas the Watkins home has been featured on historic tours 3 times, most recently on April 23rd, 2023, when the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation included historic College Park in its spring ramble, welcoming over 200 visitors, I was one of them, to experience the city's history and hospitality. And whereas Mr. Watkins served faithfully for many years as president of the College Park Historical Society, educating and inspiring residents through presentations on topics including the historic College Park Golf Course, the early history of Woodward Academy, the College Park United Methodist Church, and thereby preserving and sharing the city's rich narrative. And whereas he graciously passes the leadership torch to Karen Jeremy and commends the city of College Park for its continued investment, she's sick, in preserving history for future generations. And whereas, although Mr. Watkins is relocating to North Carolina to be closer to his daughter, he remains forever connected to College Park and promises frequent returns and Zoom calls to witness the city's continued progress and contribution to history in 2026 and beyond. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the mayor pro tem, and the city council of the city of College Park, Georgia, that we do hereby recognize you, Mr. Garland Watkins, for your sincere, lifelong dedication to preserving, celebrating, and advancing the history and the heritage of the city of College Park. Proclaimed this 2nd day of March, 2026, and you are forever treasured in the legacy of the city of College Park. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem McKenzie, for championing the revitalization of the Historical Society. Mayor Motley Broom, you may not know this, but the Historical Society has its roots in the history of one of your predecessors, Mayor Ralph Presley, who in 1978, I'm convinced, called upon everybody he knew and said, bring us what you've got in the way of College Park history, Georgia history, U.S. history, world history. We've been able to purge a lot of that less relevant stuff. And now look forward, I'm told, to welcoming the world this summer who's coming for the World Cup, who'll be up and down Virginia Avenue, over here at the hotels at the GICC. And we're convinced that they're going to be interested in this sense of place that they're residing for a week or 2 weeks, however long the case might be. Now, quickly, you mentioned the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation. When they were here 3 years ago, they were all amazed that College Park had survived what I would call the triple whammy, that being airport expansion in the 70s, MARTA expansion in the 80s, and the threat of a fifth runway in the 90s. So I was around for that part of College Park history. Didn't quite make it for those 1890 years, but I'm going to spare y'all that spiel for tonight. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Okay.
All right, another piece of history right here. That's exactly right. Yeah, perfect. On three. 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Last time. Perfect. Thank you.
Next agenda item, remarks of citizens. First public comment, Johnny Williams.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm back again about the sanitation workers' raise. Have they been given their raise yet?
Not yet, ma'am.
How long is it gonna take?
We typically don't do a back and forth on it.
Okay, I'm coming back again until
Yes,
they
ma'am.
get it now.
Yes, ma'am.
And they need a raise. They are hard workers, and they're not making no money. They're working 2 jobs, and that it's not fair to them. They work harder than anyone else for the city of College Park, and I expect for you to do well by them. No 2%, no 3%. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Next public comment, Jamel McKenzie.
Yeah, I'm gonna yield my time because I didn't know if Ms. Johnny or someone else needed it.
Next public comment, Bianca Motley Broom.
Yield to James Walker.
And the next public comment I have is James Walker.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I stand before you tonight and before the residents of College Park, not surprised, just disappointed again. And in the words of Miss Johnny Williams, if you see something, say something, and I'm gonna say something. Because apparently in this city, transparency is optional, procurement rules are flexible, and accountability depends entirely upon who's being held accountable. The public trust is not a prop, it's not a suggestion, and it certainly is not something to gamble with. By judging by the last events over the last 12 months, that's exactly what's been happening here in College Park. So since some of you may choose to scroll through your phones, send text messages, or otherwise signal your complete disinterest in public oversight, I will redirect my comments to the people who matter the most. Citizens of College Park, let's review your city procurement policies. Expenditures over $10,000 must go through competitive bids. Not should, not if convenient, not unless we know somebody. Must. Why? Because competitive bids protect taxpayers, they ensure fairness, prevent favoritism, and build public trust. But apparently when the rules become inconvenient, we just find a workaround. Even the appearance of circumventing procurement rules erodes public confidence. And historically speaking, ignoring procurement laws is one of the fastest ways for elected officials to find themselves explaining things to investigators and district attorneys rather than these constituents. Now let's talk about the patterns in the last 16 to 20 months. 3 city managers gone. 15 key employees and department leaders gone. Police chief gone. Procurement manager gone. And the procurement manager's alleged offense, trying to follow procurement policies. Sound familiar to anybody out there? Does that feel like stability to you? If you're fired or force out everyone who insists on following the rules, eventually what you are left with are people who don't ask questions and just follow blind leadership from uneducated people. Transparency is not optional in government, people, it's foundational. Now let's address agenda items, I think it's 10E and 10F now. We have professional service agreements allegedly executed without prior council approval in violation of the procurement policy. Executed first, approved later, maybe. And we're expected to casually pass through the consent agenda like it's approving minutes from the last council meeting. If there is even a question about whether agreements were executed improperly, that deserves full discussion. So thank you, Carnes, for putting that on the agenda. Not concealment inside a consent agenda. But transparency suddenly becomes complicated when it involves this council. Since I have very little confidence that it will be addressed openly here, Mr. Mose James IV and myself will be interviewing the latest victim of this inept and unprincipled governing body, the former procurement manager, Jarrell Jones,
Thank you, sir.
on Unmuted
Thank you,
Live.
Thank you.
That's 3 minutes.
Oh, that was 3?
Yes.
Oh.
On Unmuted Live on Speak Up College Park, because apparently that's where transparency now lives. Now let's move to the second observation. Councilman Joe Carnes has introduced an item to clarify spending guidelines for community enhancement funds. Clarify. That's interesting because those funds were already approved in this year's budget. The city manager can spend up to $10,000 without approval, but the mayor must now seek council approval to spend any amount, $5, $10, even 75 cents. The city manager appointed can spend $10,000. The mayor elected citywide by more votes than every council member combined would need permission to spend pocket change. And we're supposed to believe that this is oversight? Hell, the mayor can't even get an item on the agenda without going through members of this council, a procedure hurdle that has never been mandated by our charter and has never been the case with any other mayor in this city. There is no such requirement in the charter, and perhaps that's why there's been so much resistance to actually reviewing and updating our charter, because clarity tends to interfere with their control. And speaking of oversight, if spending oversight truly matters, it should apply evenly. Yet publicly available records show questions about Joe Carnes' spending. Trash cans purchased during an election season with city credit card, yet being reimbursed to him personally, bulk gift cards with unclear public purpose, liquidation outlet purchases without explanation, other expenditures with minimum description of city benefits, expensing products purchased at Bargain City for reimbursement from the city, but later labeling them as campaign expenditures on his campaign disclosure. Ooh. If oversight is so important, then surely it should apply consistently, not selectively. Now let's discuss the search for the city manager. Originally, there was an RFQ process for a nationwide search firm, then somehow that disappeared. And now the search has allegedly been assigned to a firm that may not specialize in municipal executive recruitment at all, but does specialize in public health. So let me get this straight. A city that has cycled through 3 city managers in just over a year is now possibly bypassing competitive procedure processes to assign its most critical leadership search to a firm that does not primarily recruit city managers? Please tell me that's inaccurate, make it make sense. But if this is true, it's not just concerning, it's reckless. My time is running out, so let me just leave you with this. I can't go into all relevant details in 6 minutes Surely I urge everyone to join us continuing this conversation on Unmuted, which will be hosted live on Speak Up College Park with special guests, documentation, and receipts. You won't want to miss this episode. And council, we would love if you could tune in. You might just learn something.
Thank you, sir.
Next, public comment, Alan Willis.
My name is Alan Willis, 2625 Lakeshore Drive, Ward 4. Good evening, council. Good evening. I live here. I've been here a little while, but I'm going to tell you something about what I like about where I live. It's a real nice community. We have nice seniors and young people in it. But what is appalling to me is the fact that we have some type of situation in front of us where they have multiple people living. Okay, Airbnbs, whatever they call it. What most people don't understand, we came here and we paid our money and bought these homes to retire. We don't want to be part of the rest of the story. That's what motels are for. Okay? All we want, put the Airbnbs, and I know on the 23rd, we're going to discuss that publicly. But I want to let you all know from my perspective, I believe in public safety and it's our children. We just built a brand new park out there, revitalized it for the children. Now, anybody could just come into our community from any direction and just set up house for 2 or 3 days, and we don't know who they are, and get in the way of us driving back and forth to take care of our normal business. I think that that's something that we need to address right now and immediately, so that we don't, and I'm not mistaken that we collect funds already from these places. If that's the case, you're speaking about transparency. How about writing that down so that everybody in the city can read it? Because I need to read it. I don't enjoy seeing that every day when I wake up, 4 or 5 cars in front of my yard. And when I go and visit my friends, you can't even get to their house on certain nights because cars are on both sides of the street. And that's not what the street is designed for. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you when we have the public hearing so that we could voice our opinion.
Thank you so much.
Next public comment is Demetrius Taylor.
And I'm yielding my time to him.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right. Have mercy. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let me take my glasses off because I want y'all to see me. Okay. I'm going to start. It's a joyous occasion for me because this is my birthday season. I'm 56 on Wednesday. Okay. However, like my friend here who just came before me, Mr. Walker, I'm going to say some things that you're probably not going to like, but what else is different? What's different? I'm very tired of the negative media press that we're getting. And it's all seemed to be convoluted. It also seemed to be orchestrated. What we have here is something that is underlined, that is being centered, the synergy is looping, and that there is, the word is corruption. And every time that word comes up, it always comes up in vague. It always, or the council, the council, the council, the council. And I'm at a point now to where I'm like, name names, okay? Because I'm sick of the council, all right? Because not everybody on the council is doing these dastardly deeds or whatever. I want names. Now, I'm going to come ready to call to you two right here. Because right now, we went up under how much money being spent and this, that, and the other. And Rex Willis came down here last time and just basically set off a detonator. We hear Jarrell was just interviewed on television, and Jarrell's name came up, and then they brought up Lindell Miller's name again, then they brought up Connie Rogers' name again. And all the time, the underlying thing is policy that keeps coming up. We got council trying to go against policy. Now, the policy is what I'm trying to find out what they're going against, because when we had the audit said that the money is fine. The audit said that the money is intact. The audit said that we're good financially. So what policy are we going up against? Because if the money is there, are we going up against the policy where we spend the money from other places and putting it here? Are we taking it here and putting it here when it's not supposed to be? Because Councilman Gay, you alluded to that last time when Rex said that Lindell took the money and funded your thing. You basically said, oh, well, yeah, I put her there for that. You said that. You said, well, yeah, I did this, and she was a recommendation. I did. So basically, you were admitting just that. So is that true or is it not? Because right now, what we have is a lot of allegations, and I'm tired of the media sitting up there coming here. Every time we get stuff up here, the media's here for the negative stuff. Nobody showed up for the Black History program to talk about how wondrous College Park is. We have wonderful information that came out with our Black History program. No one shows up for the good in this city, but yet everybody want to show up for the negative. And I'm real tired of that. Another thing, Councilman Arnold, I said I'm going to talk to the two of you because you've been under scrutiny. That $100,000 that went to that organization that was only a couple of days old, paper-wise, that we gave $100,000 to, nobody still knows what's going on with that. I have not heard anything. No one has known. So here we are with money going out and no paperwork, no nothing, no receivables that says what is going on, what is happening. And so now when we come up to these particular kinds of things, I fight for this council because I believe in you. But when you tie my hands and I don't know what to do, it becomes a problem. Now, Mayor Pro Tem, James Walker just stood up here. Apparently, he gets this information from you, Motley Broom, because you just stood up there and did a video today. Oh, I got receipts about and I got this from Open Records. And so you're feeding your constituency all of this in the name of, oh, I want the public to understand this, when all we get is a lot of fuel and a lot of rhetoric that get the natives restless. And then we're trying to figure out what's going on because you say you don't want to work with nobody. And everything is fitting the notion and the narrative about how you don't like working with your colleagues, and that there is troublesome. Mayor Pro Tem, now they're coming for you saying that your money is this, and you got this, and you did this, and now, we got nefarious this, and you doing this. What's going on? Because the books are saying this, but now receipts are saying elsewhere. The only person, and they tried to come for you, Dr. McKenzie, but because you have public donations, you got businesses that help you out to do your things, they can't touch you. And that's what they get upset about because your record stands clear. Everybody else they come for. Why? Because we keep hearing transparency. I wish to God we could remove that from the English language during this time. Transparency and accountability. But if you guys are not going to sit down here and show us the work and not sit up there copy attitude and go off because somebody has stepped on your toes or removed your signs and this, that, and the other, you get mad and now you want to dish tea because you mad? That's not what this is all about. This is about the work. And I, for one, am tired of having to come up asking questions or at least trying to defend it. And then we got the naysayers or whatever who didn't believe in you in the first place to sit up there and keep putting axes and keep putting nails in the coffin when all you got to do is say, hey, this is what this is. If we are not doing what the policy says to do, why are we doing it? If we're trying to have creative financing, why are we not saying, let's get creative with this and find different ways to doing this? If we need more money, how come we are not soliciting our businesses to come in to be partners with us instead of trying to nickel and dime somebody? Is that 6 minutes?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Next, Tangi Warrior.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening. I am Tangi Warrior. I'm a business owner broker, and active community leader here in College Park. I stand before you today in opposition, not in opposition, but in concern and in commitment to this community that we all serve. At this point, it is clear that something is not working. We are seeing patterns of turnover, tensions, and lack of alignment in leadership. And while those seems to be internal matters, the reality is the impact has been external, by the residents, by the business owners, and the community as a whole. When leaders are not aligned, the community loses trust. When there is instability, progress slows. And when there is confusion, people begin to question the integrity of the process. And this is where we are. I want to be clear. I'm not here to accuse any one person. I'm here to address what we're all witnessing. There are growing concerns surrounding how decisions are being made, how people are being treated, and whether individuals feel supported in operating with integrity. This is not something we can ignore. So today, I'm calling for accountability, not conflict. I am formally requesting that there be a thorough and transparent internal review of what is currently taking place so that the concerns can be addressed properly and trust can be restored. Additionally, I'm calling for the council to recommit to working together in a way that prioritizes people of this community over internal division. Because at the end of the day, this is not about personalities. It's about responsibility. And the community deserves leadership that is aligned, ethical, and focused. We are watching, we are engaged, and we are asking for better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason Kalip.
I don't think he's here.
David Birch.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I want to give the chaplain or the credit for the invocation. It was amazing. Just cheers to her for that. I'm here to just speak of an easement that we are seeking from the city on a piece of property that the city owns adjacent to a parking facility that my firm owns at Camp Creek Parkway and Washington Road. In short, and I'm happy to go into this more with the city attorney as I have with his associate, but in short, there was a stormwater pond built plus or minus 11 years ago between our property and Camp Creek Parkway. Or that we bought the property 3 years ago, and in between the time it was built and the time we bought it, became so overgrown, we didn't even know it was there. Our surveyor didn't pick it up, so we bought the property unknowing to this. And then as we've gone to refinance the property, a new surveyor discovered the pond. And it's an issue for our financing, effectively, that they want to make sure that this pond is something we have a right to maintain. Right? It's off our property, it's on city property, but they want to make sure we have the right to maintain it because, in theory, it should service our property in some way or another. If I had to guess, in my professional opinion, it was built after some storm in the 2015, 2016 timeframe, and it was meant to slow drainage from the parking lot, or from our property down gradient to this creek between our property and Camp Creek Parkway. So my request is the city consider our easement without any conditions relative to, I've gotten feedback from council members that they would like to see conditions in the easement that would result in it potentially being revoked if our property is used for the storage of trucks or salvage vehicles. And that is not permitted by zoning, as our current zoning is allowed. So I would ask the city to consider its protections under zoning and not require them in the easement, because for reasons that aren't worth going into for non-lawyer types, that doesn't if that condition in the easement renders it not satisfactory for our purposes. So I would ask, we are trying to help the city to come in and clean this stormwater pond up and maintain it. That's all we want to do. and we'd ask the city consider our easement without the previously requested conditions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, public comment, Grace McPhillips.
Good evening. I come before you tonight with my children in tow because I am a single mama today. I am winging this a bit, but I was an award-winning speaker in high school, and I was an award-winning actress during the first period of my adulthood in Chicago, and now I'm in my mom era. In different times in our life, we have access and ability to do things differently. Right now, tonight would have been much, much easier if I could have emailed my public comment. There are people like myself who have accessibility issues. Okay, so first of all, there. Thank you. Please bring that back. Secondly, I received a call from your staff today, and I wanted to thank everyone because Click See Fix is working. And when it works, it's so, so good. I went to the Barrett Park with the same children that I am with tonight, and the bathrooms at 118 were closed, even though there was a sign that says they're open from 8:30 to 2:30. I tried to use my code on the men's access bathroom, and it said, I'm sorry, the doors are already unlocked. Neither of which was true. The water fountain has been broken. And so to Tangi's point earlier, too, and I'll mention something else that Tangi and I worked on. Why can't we have nice things? We have paid so much money for some really nice things. Even the retaining pond that the gentleman just spoke about, that was no small price. The bathroom was no small price. It's a lovely bathroom. The reason it's there is so that my children don't have to pee in the bushes like they used to, okay? So, please, I know you have a meeting tomorrow about this. Please do not let the fear of poverty sway you to put another kind of fancy security system. The door needs to be unlocked. The bathroom needs to be cleaned and checked on regularly. It is not hard. The other thing that I want to mention that Tangi and I used to do, we worked together on the College Main Street Association board. We are the ones who helped raise $70,000 to create a parklet on Main Street that was enjoyed by many people on Saturday and Sunday. It was a beautiful weekend. That parklet was nice. It is covered in grease. There are old fake plants that really should have been tendered and taken care of and removed. We should have better lighting. Why can't we have nice things? We can. We just need to have the formula and the staff there consistently to make it happen. Please, your citizens deserve it. They've worked really hard. Not a single one of you had to spend money on that parklet. Let's keep it. Thank you.
Vivian Curvin.
I'm not Vivian Curvin, but I'm Gwendolyn Hutchinson, and she's given me her 3 minutes, so that ends up being 6 minutes.
Oh, yes, you are actually next in line. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am a College Park resident for 48 years. I live on Lafayette Lane. Vivian lives on Janice Drive. We're here again about the same situation, which has been taken off of the agenda. And I did speak with the interim city manager, and he did give me a reason why that it's still being done. Some more research is being done. But I do want to speak to rental properties and also Airbnbs, also curfews for young people. For being here 48 years, I think I deserve and we deserve to be able to live in peace and be able to enjoy our retirement and we be able to enjoy our senior years. The main issue is when I do want to give commendation and appreciation to the College Park receptionist. There's also a young lady, I did not get her name, that took me through the procedure on the website to help me find the information that I was looking for. And once I found that information, it was a lot. I had to go to 107 pages before I could get to this issue, which has been taken off of the agenda for tonight, the public hearing about zoning in terms of Airbnbs and rentals. We deserve better. We deserve people not coming into our neighborhoods, making money and not invested in the residential neighborhoods that they're in. Part of the issue is that when we have to call the policemen, I want to be able to give them the ordinance, the law that says these people are in the wrong. And so far, what I'm finding out is that we actually really don't have a specific ordinance for this. Is it being worked on? Because when I tried to read through the information about the ordinance, it was, to me, confusing. Things need to be defined. What is an Airbnb? What is a short-term rental? I also didn't know about the boarding houses where you can rent rooms. I mean, there's a lot of information here that need to be disseminated to the public. And when are we going to be able to speak to this? Because about our concerns and who is actually writing the ordinance. I had to go look up myself to find out, going back to civics, trying to find out who is responsible on city council, who's responsible for bringing this information. And so Mr. Hicks did tell me I'm able to email him about the concerns, but I also wanted to be known for others in the community what is going on in terms of short-term rentals. I wrote some things down, but some of my other neighbors actually spoke to this also, and I didn't realize they were having the same issue. But I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one, we're not the only ones that are having this issue. A party was given during Super Bowl, Janus Drive. Somebody came up one of those parties and knocked down and knocked the lights out on Janus Drive. So there is an issue, and there is something that really needs to be addressed. And far as I want to know also, our police department, are they looking into this stuff that's called teenage takeovers? Are they monitoring social media? I don't want a teenage takeover in College Park, and I especially don't want it on our street and in our neighborhood. So I want to know whether that is being done. You have my email. I also wanted to have some things in writing about exactly what is being done about short-term rentals, Airbnbs. Do we actually have an ordinance, or we're trying to write an ordinance? Instead of being proactive, now we are reactive to the situation. Also, we have so many people coming here buying our property, and they are not invested in our communities. So I know you know this is an issue. When I call the police, I want to be able to tell them this is the ordinance that I want you to enforce. I want to be able to be specific to that ordinance. So I don't know. I do know that I think it was Dr. McKenzie is writing something about it, but I still it needs to be further. I know the city manager said it's being investigated, and that's why it's been put off on another agenda. Yes, ma'am. And so how do we get input into what is going to be done, specifically what we want in this new ordinance, if it's a new ordinance? I think I've said most of what I want to say. we just want you to know that, when you have a party house, you have an Airbnb, it becomes a nuisance. And it becomes detrimental to us living in this neighborhood. When we have it, is that my 6 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you hearing me.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I hear you.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to confirm, I believe Ms. Eleanor Willis, would you like an opportunity to speak? Okay. You're welcome. I thought there was multiple people signing up online at various times.
That's fine, Kelly, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
City Manager and Attorney. My 2 words right now, regulations, regulations, regulations. That's what we need to have in place right now for these Airbnbs and split pads or whatever else they're doing on the property. This needs to be done immediately. I know you're saying that you don't have anything in place. However, how can we collect funds? How can we take money if we do not have guidelines in place? That's what I don't get. If we do not have an ordinance for Airbnbs or split pads, how can we take funds? That's my question. Mr. Denmark, are you listening? Okay. All right. Let me see what I put here. I am asking that the city immediately put in guidelines for Airbnb, split pads, or whatever else they're doing. And I would like for you all to consider that we cease and desist any more of these things happening in the city of College Park. Because the seniors, we love our city. We've been here for quite some time, and we would like to enjoy the rest of our lives right here in the city of College Park. And I think it's unfair to have people to migrate here to the city for just a weekend and disrupt the entire neighborhood. I just think that's very unfair. So please, 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 Mr. Hicks, you know you're my friend. I want you all to really get busy with some guidelines, you too, Mr. Denmark, and some ordinances regarding split pads and Airbnb. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
That's your residence.
Haley Miller.
Look like they're here.
Elijah Lamar.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all feeling? Y'all good? Man, it's been a tough crowd today. So this is my first one I've attended. I want to say thank you to Councilmember Gay for giving me the information about being here. And I want to say thank you to everybody for allowing me to have a few minutes to go ahead and speak to about what's my concern. My name is Elijah Lamar. I am a part of the Focus Marketing and Advertising. We are partnered with BCI Health Group and also Gen Mobile. I just want to give y'all a glimpse of what we do for the community. Recently, about last week, while we were advertising and promoting our free healthcare and the free phones, I had a woman stop and cry, break down after we was able to get her approved because she said it's been ages since she's had a cell phone, been able to talk to her loved ones. After we was able to get her approved, she gave my partner back there a hug and said the very first thing she's gonna do is call her daughter to speak to her grandkids. Earlier today, before I came, a homeless man told me that he applied for a job at Food Depot, but was unable to complete the application because he didn't have an email or a cell phone. Once I put those two things together, I said, that's when I realized how important it is about connecting, all right? So now what I'm starting to realize is that even if somebody have health care, They don't have a cell phone to be able to call their doctors, call their providers. Most of the people who have cell phones don't have health care to stay healthy and stay alive. And what we do is we provide those benefits. We work for a company that is, you know what I'm saying, it's government assistant, and they allow us to give those opportunities. And a lot of it is being blocked right now. So what I'm trying to do is be able to figure out a way for us to go ahead and stop us being able to provide those benefits. Most people don't know about it. Everybody go and apply for food stamps and apply for assistance because they know about it. But people don't know about what we're doing here. It's literally free healthcare, and it's free cell phones as well. The only thing I'm asking for is to not have to go through the hula hoops with having the permits, and like literally we have people who break down and cry and say, thank you so much, it's a need. Not only is it a need for that, but we also give out job opportunities to do the same thing that we're doing, which means that we keep people off the streets and allow them the opportunity to go ahead and generate some type of income for that as well. So what we do here for Focus Advertising and Marketing, we partner with Gen Mobile, which allows us to go ahead and get people qualified for free cell phones if they have some type of government assistance, which would be SSI, disability, if they have Social Security disabled, if they get SNAP, or if they make under $70,000, so even for the low income. So my ask to you is to figure out the process.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a little bit, it was a little bit muted. But.
Okay, I apologize. So my question is to figure out the process of what to do
is the
to
time
figure
up?
out how,
Yes, the time
how
is
we
up.
can
I'm
go
sorry.
through those hoops.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I apologize.
No,
Thank
you're
you so
fine.
much.
Thank you.
Stanley Mohammed.
Assalamu alaikum. May God's peace be upon you, Mayor and Council, city officials, and citizens. I want to give praise and thanks to Almighty God for this wonderful weekend that we celebrated on the last day of Black History Month. It was an absolutely fantastic event. My wife and my children were there, and we don't want something that positive to be drowned under negativity. And because many people don't want to celebrate Black history. And if they do celebrate it, they want it to be watered down. But I thank God for the leadership of our city council, city manager, Mr. Hicks, city council, Mayor Lance, who's the interim director, did a wonderful job, Ms. Paulette, and also Brian. But above that, the Black History Committee, they did a fantastic job. And I tell you, they worked as volunteers, and I just want to give praise and thanks to God for that wonderful event. And we want to keep it going. We want to keep it up, because the knowledge of self produces love for self. And so many people like to misinterpret what Black is. Like our President Trump, he disrespected the first Black president and his wife by trying to associate Black with monkeys. That means there's people around that does not know the origin of Blackness. God said in the book of Jeremiah 8:21, I am Black. Solomon says in the book of Solomon, I am black and handsome, O you daughters of Jerusalem. So Black is beyond the plantation. To talk about Black, you got to go back to God himself, who is Black. Jesus says, I am Black. My hair is like lamb's wool, feet like brass burnt in the furnace. So don't let people tell you that Black is negative. Black is not a color. Black is the essence which all color comes from. In the book of Acts, chapter 17 and 26, from one drop of blood comes all nations on the earth. That's got to be Black blood. We're the only people that can produce the whole human family of the planet Earth. So don't make people think that Black is negative. Matter of fact, we're Black because we come directly from God. and our father is black. We're black because we are the mothers and fathers of civilization. Thank you. Peace be unto you.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Mayor, the timer has ran out.
All right, so I think that moves us, the entire consent agenda has been, we don't have any hearings, and the consent agenda has been bumped. So I think before you sound this next item, it's important to note that it also takes away power from the city manager with these guidelines, and doesn't really address some of the problems that we have seen with some of the spending that has gone on with sub $10,000 spending. But please, Madam Clerk, go ahead and sound.
Item 10A, consideration of an action on a request to approve the proposed recommended guidelines for the spending of community enhancement funds. This item is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Joe Carn.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes.
Item 10B, consideration of an action on a request to adopt the youth travel policy, Resolution 2026-XX. This item is requested by Queenie Brown, Deputy City Clerk.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any discussion? Hearing none. Councilmember Carn?
Is Queenie here? Queenie, anything you wanted to mention on this at all, or? No, sir. All right.
Councilmember, do you have any questions?
That was my question.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Item 10C,
Madam
consider.
Clerk, before you sound.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
What is the balance of the TPD fund? It would be great to know that before a transfer was made. Please go right ahead.
Consider. We having discussion?
Kelly, is that the next item?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Have we called the item?
No, the item hasn't
No,
been
so I can
called, so
speak
how can
before
we
it.
have questions?
I can speak before
Mr. Denhoff?
an item is sounded.
I did not hear the item sounded. I believe the clerk was about to sound the item.
Right, she hasn't sounded
So
it.
can we
Where are we
discuss
in the
this
agenda right
before
now?
the
She's
item
about to
is
sound the
sounded?
item.
The question is, can we have discussion before the item is sounded?
No, I don't believe that we should have discussion before an item is sounded.
Can
Discussion,
questions be
wait, hold
asked
on
before
one
the
second.
item is
Hold on
sounded?
one second. Discussion doesn't happen until the item is sounded. I can speak before the item is sounded. Madam Clerk, please go right ahead.
Questions, though. It's a difference between speaking and asking questions.
I will phrase it like like we're on Jeopardy. Madam Clerk?
Item 10C, consideration of an action on a request to approve a budget modification to the hospitality fund to include projects approved during fiscal years 25 and 26 funded by the Tourist Product Development, TPD, in the amount of $12,269,060.93. Count number 275-4975-52-6300, fiscal year 2026. This item is being requested by Cynthia Hammond, Interim Finance Director. This item will service wards 1, 3, and 4.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. There's always discussion. Councilmember Carn?
All right, couple of things. City Manager and Finance Director, thank y'all for putting this list together here. All right, now we've got several different projects on this list to move along. Some projects are more costly than others, but that doesn't mean that one goes in front of another or whatever have you. But City Manager
I would work to prioritize the city projects, basically the same as we always have, which has generally been, community needs basis, I guess, more or less. If we are going to pass this, one thing I don't want to do is neglect any TPD qualified maintenance and repair work, which does qualify as, through capital operating costs and whatever have you. But I want to make sure the books are open on these projects as we move them along, which means, and this applies to everybody's projects, we need to see updates, we need to see milestones, schedules for how this stuff is going to move forward. Nobody's being handed a big check and saying, hey, have at it with your group here and good luck with it, and we'll see you in a year and a half at the ribbon cutting. Incremental project milestones are norm here in the city of College Park. That $15 million bridge up the street was on time and went well because there were weekly updates. There were milestones. The project management team was reporting weekly. There were monthly reports every month coming to this entire body in terms of how projects were going. I don't want to see projects just run wildly and they end up with cost overruns and all this type of stuff. But, again, monitoring and making sure things go as advertised keeps that type of stuff from happening. I understand last year we had a cost overrun well into the six figures that, quite frankly, I wasn't aware of until our new finance person got into a position there, and I was surprised about that. But that type of stuff usually comes in front of us. So, city manager, at the end of the day, you handle the operations of this city. These projects are large operations of this city. I think they're all good projects. But again, how the funds are released, the scope of work and everything that we're doing and things that are going on, I just want to make sure that there's some parameters put in place for projects this size. The Gateway Arena, for instance, there were weekly meetings. There were regular updates at every month at city council meetings in terms of how things are moving along. And that way, if the residents have questions, regarding what exactly it is we're doing and how exactly is our money being spent. And we will have accountability, we'll have transparency, we'll have scheduling and milestones. And again, that transparency, it opens the books regarding the when, the where, the what, and where my tax dollars are going. And I think everybody's entitled to that because that includes our tax dollars up here as well. So, city manager, between you and the finance director, I just want to make sure as we move forward with these projects, and they're great projects, all of them, I just want to make sure that we're keeping track of every dime. And when it comes time to true things up, we want to make sure, like the mayor says, the math adds up and so on and so forth. So these are great projects. I'm looking forward to them all. I did have a question about the accuracy of some of this on the list, but well, those are my comments, and I'm looking forward to moving forward with this stuff. Again, with oversight, with accountability, and making sure that we're in touch with the project teams, the project management teams, and updates to make sure we're on track and on time and on budget. So, yeah.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Councilmember Arnold?
So the number for the Godby Road Park is $3 million. The consensus was up to $3 million for the park. The number that's that's listed is showing up to the amount on the PSAs. So the discussion, though, was for the project up to $3 million. So I would like to have the number corrected for the record.
I would,
Councilmember Carn?
thank you. I don't know who made the motion, but I would like that motion to include, and I guess this is a friendly amendment, just to include some of the things I spoke on in terms of oversight, milestones, monthly reports. I want to see coming in with the city council in terms of where we are and how things are moving along. If we run into hiccups, how do we get around them? If there are major things that you as the finance director or city manager feel like it needs to come to the body, then you guys use your best judgment on it.
Councilmember, could you actually put that in the form of a friendly amendment so the mover could consider it?
Well, I guess my friendly amendment would be moving forward with the TPD projects here, but keeping in mind in terms of milestones, scheduling, keeping up with the project management and how things are moving along. You all set up a system of how you're gonna allocate these funds and in what increments you all determine and so on and so forth. We wanna just make sure we keep tight reins on this thing and make sure all of these projects go smoothly, transparently, and accurately, and where they're all funds are accounted for.
Madam Clerk, you got that? Could you read that back and make sure that the mover? I'm a little lost on the so on and so forth, so if you could.
I think everyone gets the overall.
That's a clerk. Madam?
Madam Mayor, the friendly amendment that I have noted is that Mayor Pro Tem Carn motioned to move forward with the projects to include oversight, milestones, monthly reports, and to ensure the projects run smoothly and transparently.
Councilmember, is that your motion or your friendly amendment?
Well, that was pretty much it, and obviously, city manager at the end of the day, buck stops there in terms of oversight of all of these projects and anything else we're doing in the city for that matter.
Madam Mayor,
Councilmember Arnold.
I would like for that amendment to the motion to include the correction of the number that we agreed to for Godby Road, which is $3 million.
$3 million. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Who made the motion?
The initial motion
Yes, ma'am.
was Councilwoman McKenzie,
Okay.
seconded by Councilman Gay.
All right. Councilmember McKenzie, do you accept both of those as friendly amendments?
I'm going to drop my motion, let somebody else make that motion.
Okay. Councilmember McKenzie has withdrawn her motion. Is there a motion on the floor?
I would make that
Thank you.
motion.
Wait, hold on. Councilmember Gay? Your motion to approve the TPD?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a second? That's just sitting as it stands on the agenda. Is there a second?
And with motion to adjust the, Godby Road Park to $3 million.
Okay. Is there a second?
With no oversight or accountability?
Hold on. I'm just waiting on a second here.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any further discussion?
With no
Councilmember Carn.
oversight or accountability? I'm assuming, is my friendly amendment still on that motion?
That motion's been withdrawn, so your friendly amendment is
Well,
not.
I would like to add.
Hold on, you asked a
friendly
question,
amendment.
the motion has been withdrawn, so this is a new motion of the TPD approving essentially item 10C with the adjustment to the $3 million for the Godby Road Park. That is the motion that has been made, that has been moved and seconded.
And I have a friendly amendment to that motion.
All right, go ahead and state that. Hold on, wait, go ahead and, wait, let me let him state it, and then you can consider whether or not you accept it. Councilmember Carn.
Thank you. My friendly amendment is the same motion, city clerk, as I put before the first motion.
Councilmember Gay, do you accept that as a friendly amendment?
No, and.
All right.
And the reason why, Mayor, is because our city attorney, our system of government has all those safeguards in place. I think it's, just redundant to just put all that in motion.
All right, so any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
All right, the motion passes with council members McKenzie, Arnold, and Gay in favor. Councilmember Carn abstain. And this next item, I believe we have already paid in excess of $10,000 to Ulysses Grady this fiscal year. How did that happen? Well, actually, I'm curious as to how that happened.
Item 9A, consideration of an action on a request to approve the professional services agreement with Ulysses Grady Jr. in the amount of $42,750 for engineer and construction manager services to support ongoing and upcoming city projects. This item is being requested by A.B. Woldahana, city engineer. This is a budgeted item. Fund fiscal year 2026 consulting, GL account number 100-1575-52-5510. This item will serve all wards.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
City manager. So I understand there was a need for a second city engineer coming in, as well as some additional city planning support. Is that right?
Absolutely. When the engineer goes on vacation, the work has to stop until he comes back. We have no succession plan for the city engineer. We have no succession plan for the city planner. When they are out of the office, all the work stops. And that model is not sustainable.
Well,
We have to have some backup for the city engineer and for the city planner. Right now, we don't. If you guys vote this down, that means if the engineer gets sick or the engineer goes on vacation, whatever work the engineer is doing, it stops until he comes back.
The engineer, this man's already been paid $10,987.50.
The work stops until he comes back.
I'm saying,
If you guys kill this motion, the city engineer, Councilman Gay, don't have a backup. The city planner don't have a
hold on
backup.
one second. Mr. Grady has already been paid $10,987.50. How did that happen? Who approved that? Because this body didn't.
I have a comment here.
Okay, Councilmember Carn?
The first thing, I don't think there's been any council meeting that we haven't approved a project or a contract that hasn't already started at times, where people have already gotten paid, or a project has been completed and it gets on the agenda for approval. So this is not anything out of the ordinary at all. I've seen that happen dozens and dozens of times. So.
Do I get to speak?
Councilmember Gay, go right ahead.
Mayor, interim city manager Hicks, my colleagues, I don't think this is an issue about having a backup. I think this is more of an issue of transparency. These two contracts had us on the news, public news, opening this great government to innuendos. I think this is more of an issue of, as Mr. Walker was saying, of being transparent. It would have been just as easy to bring those people on the agenda tonight and allow us to vet them than to unilaterally hire them. That is exactly what happened to Dr. Adair, in my belief. He unilaterally wrote $571,000 of public money. At some point, we can't continue to allow our city manager to unilaterally make decisions. The other thing is that we said, I'm sure we said, that our interim city manager would not hire without at least giving this board the professional courtesy of considering those hires. And that's for a reason, because all these people up here bring value. They all have relationships. We know people as well, but just to unilaterally hire someone, it takes us out the process. It takes the public out the process. The third thing is who works when you get sick, or who works when you take vacation? Who's your successor? These projects are are designed that they're not based on hourly work. These are long-term projects with a lot of controls in place. There's surveys, they're just numerous. Engineering projects are massive in scale. They don't stop because AB took, and the final thing I want to say respectfully, I don't even see AB down here. I don't even see our city engineer even advocating for this. It's almost like we're just putting this guy in his space. And I don't think that's fair to AB. I don't think it's fair to any of these directors. Now, in closing, I don't have a problem with Ulysses. I know Ulysses, Pentagon, I've been knowing him. He's been around here for a minute doing stuff. But I think we need to be deliberate on how we continue to put people in our organization, and we need to get a handle on this, because it's not right when the last one did it. It's not right when you do it. It's not going to be right until we get a process that works.
We are way out.
I'd like to respond, please.
Mr. Hicks, and that'll be the last comment. We'll move on to 10F.
I do have a comment after Mr. Hicks.
You've had an opportunity to comment. We're not
And
in
I
discussion.
have a
There's
second
already,
comment.
and sir, we're not gonna acknowledge it. We're at this point, we're just gonna let Mr. Hicks speak, and then we're gonna move on to 10F, because we are not actually, there was not a motion, so.
That's fair.
Yeah, so Mr. Hicks, go ahead.
Well,
and wrap us
Councilman Gay, I'm certainly not trying to dissect your conversation, but everything that you hear on the news is not real. Every time someone make an allegation, that doesn't mean they're telling the truth. Then secondly, whenever I'm out of the office, I choose a capable department head to sit in this role to make sure that we have a backup. And again, the model that we have currently is not sustainable. When we were with the collaborative firm, we didn't have to worry about that, because the collaborative firm would rotate people in whenever that person got sick. We're not doing business with the collaborative firm anymore. And so now, when the engineer is out, all of these projects we've got going on, it waits till they get back. When the city planner is out, we have no succession plan. And if you guys don't think that model is working, then we need to do something about it. But personally, as a city manager, that model is not sustainable.
All right, thank you, sir.
I'd
Madam
like to
Clerk?
make a substitute motion for this.
What is your motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we look into hiring an additional engineer for this particular position. And I'm not saying it has to be Mr. Grady, but I would like for us to still consider the succession planning that Mr. Hicks has established, and just put out a search or whatever for an engineer, and it may end up being this person.
Second with discussion.
A second.
Councilmember Arnold seconded, and Councilmember Carn, there's always discussion. Go right ahead.
I'll just say this, the previous city managers have traditionally done the hiring. The previous city managers, they've always done the hiring and have always brought on professional contractual services from time to time whenever the city manager deemed necessary without asking us for permission. This is nothing out of the ordinary or unusual at all. So.
All right,
Comment.
Councilmember McKenzie?
I think in this particular situation, we are, there appears to have been an error that was made, and we need to rectify this. I definitely believe that we need to have second persons or part-time persons, and this is not there's still the rule that we have in this city that above $10,000 that things have to come before the council. And so what I'm saying in this motion now is that we give the approval to put out a search or whatever the city manager may deem to look for a position in the engineering department.
A second.
You already did.
Okay, well,
Thanks, Councilwoman.
yeah.
Councilmember Arnold?
I
then
want to
Councilmember
add that I agree that we need to have additional people in these departments. And I appreciate the succession planning. Of course, this is a challenge, And we've known that we've had a shortage of staff in departments. This isn't the first time that we've heard of that, nor is this the first time that we have heard from developers and vendors trying to reach individuals, and they can't because no one is there.
That's right.
So it's a smart move. I understand that, you know, the violation of the policy is I'm not giving a pass on that, but we have to do better as far as having additional people on staff for things like people being sick and on vacation. I agree with that part. Those are my comments.
That's great.
Councilmember Gay?
You know, an engineer is just like a doctor or a surgeon. I think more so than that, the engineer department need to be better equipped. It may need additional staff. The city engineer don't have to be the receptionist. The city engineer don't have to be the drafter. City engineer is a specific effect. But one thing I want this body to know is that we have never not been without services. We've had Pond, we've had Stratus, we've had Prime. We have always used several engineering firms. We have never, I want to say this for the record, we have never been without engineering services. As today, as we speak right now, we have several engineer firms on board right now. So that city engineer isn't the whole part of our organization engineering team. He's just like the chief medical officer.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? How do we get over $10,000 on Mr. Grady?
Are you posing that question to me?
Yes, sir.
There's no discussion right now. You don't have to respond.
All right, let's not respond. Let's not let the public know.
That's not it, Mayor. It's just the fact that you're violating charter. That's all. You're violating the ordinance. It's not about not letting the public hear. But if someone in this council, there was an error made, and you've made it very clear through all of your shenanigans over the past few hours that Mr. Hicks spent a few dollars over $10,000. And we as a council can tap him on the hand, or we can let him know that that is not the way things go. But to beat this thing into a dead horse right now, it doesn't do the public any good. It's been done. We will deal with it. But at the end of the day, we are looking at making sure we have an engineering department that's staffed. So we just need to leave the pettiness alone.
Our tax dollars are never petty.
It's
All
not,
those in
it's not,
favor?
okay, so you gotta have the last say, even though you're not supposed to be discussing.
All those in favor?
Okay? Aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next item, consideration of an action on a request to approve the professional services agreement for city planners' strategic planning initiatives at an hourly rate of $80 plus approved reimbursable expenses that include printing and mileage for professional zoning services. This item is being requested by Michael Hicks, interim city manager. This is a budgeted item, fund fiscal year 26, consulting GL account number 100-1352-6170. This will serve all wards.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next item, consideration of an action on a request to approve the GICC to participate in the SCAD Sprint Student Collaboration Design Project for exterior signage design and building facade mural. This action will enable students and teams to develop directional signage for consideration and use on the campus. This project will provide students with real-time design challenge. The cost is $10,000. This item is requested by Executive Director Giannis Barner. This is a budgeted item, fund contractual services, GL account 555-4970-526170 for fiscal year 2026 to 2027. This will service Ward 2.
Ward 2. Oh.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second with
Thank you.
discussion.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. There's always discussion. Go right ahead.
It's in Ward 2, but I think it's gonna serve the whole city.
The whole
I think you
city.
should correct the record.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's in Ward 2, but it'll serve the
It
whole
will
city,
serve
like
the
you said,
whole-
I agree.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next item, consideration of an action on a request to approve strategic planning retreat for department heads to embrace and collaborate on all strategic goals in the amount of $30,000. This item is being requested by Michael Hicks, interim city manager. This is a budgeted item. Fund fiscal year 26 fund contractual services GL account 100-1352-6170. This will serve all wards.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any discussion?
I
Councilmember Gay?
would like to look at, evaluate if there are other supervisors or managers that might be close to becoming a department director that could perhaps participate in this event. 'Cause
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Mayor?
Councilmember McKenzie?
Yeah, I like that idea that Councilman Gay said, so I would be in favor of the amount being increased if that's what is necessary to have Mr. Hicks look at some additional persons. Since we are talking about succession planning at this time, it would not hurt if there were other individuals that would benefit from this. So I don't know if if it would incur a cost. If so, please let us know. Us approving $30,000 does still, I believe, give liberty for the city manager to add on up to $9,999. But I would definitely think that this would be advantageous. Oh, Ms. Batchelor's
no, I was
actually
gonna
here.
say Mayor.
Ms. Batchelor,
Ms. Batchelor.
would it cost additional dollars for us to add some additional staff?
she said it was, she gave us a price per person, and we don't got 10 directors.
So, so thank you all so much for the additional discussion. So currently, it's up to 20 staff members. So that covers the 14 to 15 department heads and any other senior staff. So that's what the current amount is. So I would defer to Mr. Hicks to let us know if that covers the people you're thinking about for succession planning.
Okay, okay.
Any further discussion?
I have a comment.
Councilmember Carn?
This is the city manager's retreat, and while I think it's a good idea, I'd like to let the city manager use his discretion in terms of who you feel is necessary to come and whatnot, but I think it's gonna be a very positive event, and I think it's a good way to start the year off, so, yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Thank you.
Consideration of an action on a request to pay the contractual services invoices for Nova Engineering and Environmental LLC for building department and plan review services in the amount of $15,126.25 for January. This item is being requested by Sabrina Walters, Inspections Operations Manager. This is a budgeted item, fund contractual services, GL account number 100-7252-6170, fiscal year 2026. This services all citywide areas.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next item, consideration of an action on a request to review services provided by Amadeus, a licensure provider that enables the GICC sales department users to access our Delphi and Salesforce meeting software in the amount of $82,017.25. This item is requested by Giannis Bonner, Executive Director of the Gateway Center Campus. This is a budgeted item from fiscal year 26 to 27. Fund R&M. GL account number 555-4970-525730. This will service Ward 2.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next item, consideration of an action on a request to approve a resolution consenting to the expansion of Airport West Community Improvement District. This item is of no cost to the city. This Item is being requested by Jaquez Garcia, Economic Development Program Manager. This will service all wards.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like the record,
Councilmember Gay?
I would like the record to reflect during the workshop that we asked them to look at the, additional resources for, Highway 29 on Main Street is called, and also, West Point.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Consideration of an action on a request to permit the College Park Youth Civic Advisory Board and the College Park Youth Council to travel to Washington, D.C. from March 12th to 15th, 2026, and not to exceed $20,000. This is a budgeted item, fiscal year 26 GL account fund.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Next item, City Attorney's Report.
No report this evening, Madam Mayor.
12, City Manager's Report.
Mayor, Council, I have a few things. First and foremost, I'm not sure if you all was copied on the email for the initials KCPB, Keep College Park Beautiful. And so today, we want to celebrate Ms. Frances Kennedy for winning, I want to get the award right, the Sue Smith Professional Award and this is taken away. So kudos to Brian Anderson. Ms. Kennedy is part of his team, but she's been doing an excellent job, and for College Park to get that kind of notoriety, I think that certainly deserves a round of applause. So Gerald, we want to make sure we certainly put some media behind that to congratulate her. You all kind of took the words out of my mouth when you mentioned, I think it was Councilman Gay, let's expand the retreat to include some other staff. Well, I had it was breakfast the other day with about 10 members that were not department heads. These were administrators for all of these departments. And so I'm gonna certainly look at some of those names and add them to the retreat list. One of the things I forgot to do in our last meeting, again, we're gonna recognize a department once a month, and I failed to do that. So our GICC, you can see that in my city manager report. Our GICC team deserves that recognition. So Giannis, it was a social faux pas on my part, so we're gonna try and get it right tonight. So Kelly, if you could play that video, and then that will conclude my report. Thank you.
Okay, sir, it'll take me a moment. I need to pull that up in my email.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I might, while the clerk is getting that, I neglected to mention something that most of you may already be aware of, that in the General Assembly right now, they're considering House Bill 942, which would radically impact how airport properties are taxed. And if this thing goes, my law firm's been working with county leadership on this for quite some time, but if it goes like we hope it goes, it would be transformational for Clayton County, including those portions that lie within our amazing city. And so the city of Atlanta's put in kind of a shameful and embarrassing effort to try to stop it. But I would encourage everybody who lives in Clayton County and in College Park to support that House bill.
Kelly, if you go back to the report, you just open the report, you can click on the video.
The video's in there, okay.
Yes, just click out. Go back.
Go back, go back, go back, go back.
Go back, Kelly.
Oh, you guys can
Right
see
there,
it.
check the video
Check
out
out the
here.
video here. Let's click that.
Oh, okay. Let me turn the volume up and unfreeze the screen.
I'm Jonas Barner. I'm the Executive Director at the Gateway Center campus. Our campus includes the Georgia International Convention Center.
Apologies, I was trying to expand.
Hi, I'm Jonas Barner. I'm the Executive Director at the Gateway Center campus. Our campus includes the Georgia International Convention Center, the Gateway Center Arena, and the historical College Park Golf Course. I've served on this campus for the past 23 years in different roles. I was appointed the Executive Director in August 2025. I am proud to be a part of this great campus and looking forward to leading this team to new heights. The Georgia International Convention Center opened up in 2003. It served as an economic driver for the city of College Park and the surrounding communities. We are just a 2-minute ride from the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport via the Airport Complimentary SkyTrain. The GICC welcomes over 1 million guests annually. We host a variety of events from conference, sports, consumer shows, and more. Our exclusive caterer, Proof of the Pudding, and our preferred audiovisual partners on site help us bring events to life. The Gateway Center Arena opened in 2019. It was built to be the home of the College Park Skyhawks, the Atlanta Hawks NBA G League team. The arena is also the proud home of the Atlanta Dream and League One Volleyball, women professional volleyball. Delivering great service is the cornerstone of the campus. Our arena has been awarded the #1 NBA G League arena for 4 years in a row based on safety and service. This is a huge honor that we are proud of. We have served just under 100,000 people this year, and we strive to serve more each and every year. When was the last time you played golf? Historic College Park Golf Course was founded in 1929. Our course has putting greens, a driving range, a pro shop, a 2,000 square foot event center, perfect for a private event after a round of play. Additionally, the golf course is across from the Georgia International Convention Center and Gateway Center Arena, which is perfect for our guests during their downtime after a conference or event.
And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. Hicks, I have a question for you. I asked the question this afternoon, didn't get a response from your team, and I just don't think any of our tax dollars are petty. So I'm trying to understand why we made a payment for nearly $3,000 for a funeral service.
Would you like me to respond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anybody that knows me know that I am a staff member first before I sit in the seat. And I am vulnerable to the staff needs. We have a staff member that their son died and didn't have enough money for the burial. So at the city manager's discretion, I helped that staff member pay for the son's burial. Now, we also had a budget meeting with our HR department, and we found out for staff bereavement, we only had $1,000, $1,000. So we got with the HR director and said, look, how much would it cost for us to at least give all of our staff members a flower if their members died? So I think, Crystal, we said about $80 per person. So we took $80 times 500 staff, and we upped it from $1,000 to $4,000. Now, what I wish I really had was more money, a discretionary fund, so that if something happens to some of our staff members again and they can't bury their loved one, the city manager could help. So am I guilty for that? Absolutely. That's your answer, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Mr. Hicks, did you give the money to the family, or did you pay a funeral home for the service?
I think we sent it to the funeral home, and I'll check.
Okay, I just wanted that to be clear.
Atlanta Funeral Assistance LLC is
So
where
it went to, it was a bill that was paid to a funeral home. Just wanted to
For a
clarify.
staff member that works at the
But it
police
did
building.
not go directly to an individual, it went to a company.
Well, I'd like to comment on that as well.
Councilmember?
Folks, bereavement is a life-ending, a life-changing event. I don't think there's a person in this room that hasn't been through something along those lines. This gentleman, and I'm not going to name names, he is a hard worker in the city of College Park. He's worked with us over 10 years, 12 years, I think, to be exact. In addition to that, he's a resident of College Park and a taxpayer. This person works in the custodial area, and he doesn't make, I don't think he makes even $20 an hour, still in the teens. But I did know this gentleman for many years. He had a son, young man that was about 22 years old. He has special needs. He had some nonverbal issues and some serious special need issues that some young people have. And he had some serious health issues that I'd known about. But he was a great young guy. And this gentleman served us very, very well over the years. His son had taken ill. He was having some type of serious heart conditions. I don't know if there were heart defects going on in addition to some of the special needs that this young man had. He was rushed to Grady Hospital, where he did pass away. Now, according to the parents' father, they were attempting to pay for funeral services in the local I think it was a East Point Funeral Home, and the amount was a bit high. They paid a significant portion of the amount, but they did not have the insurance that would cover the remaining portion of the amount to bury this young man. He did reach out to me because I didn't know him, and he told me what had happened. Like I said, I felt very, very, very badly for him. And I told him, I said, well, I'll give the city manager a call, and I don't know if there's something that we can do, but if it is, we'll try to do what we can if we can do something. Now, I did recall that we did have a bereavement budget in the city. We've always had it. I gave the city manager a call, and I explained the situation to him. And according to the father, he said they were short by about $2,600 or so. And I told the city manager specifically that if there was something that we could do, and I did recall that we did have a bereavement budget, I said, if we can do something, I think that'd be great. I gave him the number. He reached out to them, and I think that what you did was a tremendous blessing, and that's something that should be done under those very, very special circumstances. Does that mean cities handle burials for every family? Absolutely not. But folks, we're all people first. And for me, I'm a God-fearing man. And Lord knows I'm not perfect. But I know right from wrong. And we're going to talk about that in my public comments with this financial nonsense and get that cleared up for the record. So, City Manager, I appreciate what you've done. And I do think we need to make sure that that bereavement fund is there for very rare occasions and rare circumstances. Again, I thank you for your decisions. I thank you for using discretion and for not abusing any of these things that we have in place for very unique and extraordinary circumstances that only come once in many, many years. So I'll just leave it at that. But I think it was the right thing to do. And if I were city manager, I would have done the same thing or done something that I could do within the parameters of my abilities and within my budgets. So if there was a bereavement budget, which there was, I would have done what I could to make sure that that was possible as well. So, yeah.
As a note, this came out of contractual services. Councilmember Gay.
I want to comment that I agree that it's horrific when someone loses a family member. My wife and I was having this discussion today, and it's just the thought of it. But I want us to be remiss that we're governed by constitutional laws. We're a public business, and no different than me having the oldest ward. I've probably gone to more funerals than the undertaker. But we still have to be mindful that the burial of an employee family member is a private matter, not a public matter. So funds have to be used by public accountability. I think when you add how hurt it is for someone to die, that's touching. It's emotional. But at the same time, I think what the mayor was saying is simply that it's public use and we can't use it for private purposes. It's called gratuity. I think the city attorney might need to weigh in on it. I think that's why he's there, for him to provide some clarity.
Yes, sir. You're correct, sir. There's a provision in the Georgia Constitution called the Gratuities Clause, which states that you may not use public money for a charitable purpose or to donate it to a private cause. Instead, all public money has to be used for a public purpose for which the city receives fair value or compensation. And so, to the extent that this was for a purely private matter, it implicates the gratuities clause. I would recommend that, as opposed to giving a definitive legal opinion here and now, I'd like to talk to Mr. Hicks and try to understand this a little bit better. But on an initial level, the gratuities clause is clear, and it sometimes is harsh in its application, because it means that very worthy causes that would impact all of us, we would all feel the need to want to do something, but we're just constrained by the law when we're spending public money. And so otherwise worthy causes that we would all like to contribute to, well, you can do so personally, but there are rules that govern how we use public money, and those rules are strict, and those rules are clear.
Question.
Councilmember McKenzie.
Yes, in this matter, I heard Mr. Hicks say, and I don't know if Ms. Gilbert can clarify, that the city has a bereavement fund. So is that correct? There's a bereavement. So the money that is in the bereavement fund, where is that money coming from? Is that public funds that have been allocated for private purposes?
So,
Wait, hold on.
She's gonna
Let
give us
Ms.
the answer.
Gilbert answer, please.
So in our budget, we put in, we allocate funds for members of families who pass away for the flowers. So we put that in our budget because since we're human resources, we want to be able to send a flower to the family from the city.
So basically, what I heard Mr. Hicks say, you all looked at the number of employees by $80 or whatever this may have been, and this figure was reached of $4,000.
Right.
To increase that from $1,000, that fund, to $4,000.
Right.
And so this 2,600 is actually a part of that 4,000 that's been increased. I just need a clarification.
No, ma'am. So in my budget, the $80 is per plant or flower. It's what we're using it for.
Okay, so back to gratuities clause. If we already have a policy in place where the city gives $80, up to $80 for flowers for a family, or any $15, $20 for flowers. So, you know, these are the types of issues, and I'm not really necessarily looking for an answer. I'm just trying to make a point that what is the difference between $80 and $2,600 if both of those monies, if those funds are being used to help a family in bereavement?
I can help you with that.
well,
Hold on. Wait.
I'm just asking the question. I'm not taking a side. I'm asking a question.
I think it's a good question, but I'm gonna help you.
Hold on. Councilmember, are you finished? McKenzie? Councilmember Kennedy?
Oh, no, so the question is, since it's been made clear to me that there is not a specific amount of money when we start talking about the gratuities clause. And we do things in this city, from time to time. And Winston brought this up months ago, but my brethren did not want to move forward with creating a foundation or setting up a situation in the city of College Park where we could use private donations to be able to cater to these types of events. So anytime the city of College Park does anything to help anyone in this city that is a member of the community or an employee, and we use public funds for a private purpose, we are dealing with the same issue. So, either we need to get it straight across the board, or we need to get a better understanding, Mr. Denmark, on how these funds can be used. Meanwhile, this has been done at this time, and I believe that it was done because this has been the practice, and there is no particular amount of money that we are told that we can use to assist an employee or a family in need. And until we get clarity on that, it's a question.
Councilmember Gay next, then Councilmember Carn. Councilmember Gay,
next.
and then Councilmember Carn.
I was next. I think in Jewish, what is it called, jurisprudence, they categorize things by the dollar amount. For example, you can take something and it be on a certain dollar amount, you get slapped on the wrist. You do something else, it can go up to larceny, it can go with the grand theft. We're not talking about that, but here's the analogy. Under that principle, the city manager could just then go and withdraw the whole budget. Because the $2,500 amount was over the $10,000 amount, right? Mm-hmm. In other words, the amount that he spent for the family was over the $10,000 allowed.
No, $29.95.
But his limit is 10,000. So my point is, under that logic, you could then go say, I can now withdraw whatever I want and tie it under the flower thing. I guess what I'm trying to say is, God, I don't want to bring her into this, but I was having a conversation with my assistant today, and she was having a heartfelt moment as well. And then I said, well, did we pay for your dad's funeral? In other words, it's a slippery slope.
It is.
When you start using that kind of money at the discretion of who family gets a benefit. I think with a flower, that may actually be a public, because I was going to a funeral and I seen the sheriff, Pat LeBach, and he has a flower that he sends to all of the funerals. And it's right there, and I was looking at it, I said, well, now how he get to do this? And somebody told me, that's more of a public display of the support of, but when you start paying for funeral services, that becomes to me a personal decision, and it's a slippery slope because we die every day and employees die every day since I've been working here. So if you start paying for one, you might have to pay for a lot of them, and it's not coming out of her bereavement budgets from what I'm hearing.
Councilmember Card?
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with both of my colleagues. In terms of jurisprudence, yes, it is a line, and we do have to be careful in terms of that line. We do a lot of things along these lines that are kind of somewhere in between, policy and what it is we are looking at. We do not charge for requests for a funeral procession, using city vehicles many, many, many times over. Some residents get it, some residents do not get it. Yes, there is a bereavement budget, line item or whatever have you. I do not believe that the new city manager was aware of that line item or whatever when this occurred. But over time, the thousands and thousands of dollars worth of flowers that we have provided over the years, respect to the city attorney, you know, perhaps we should look at possibly discontinuing some of these practices altogether, and not altogether, but I think, like Councilwoman McKenzie said, this is probably a good example of a worthy purpose for this proposed city 501c3. And I remember city attorney, you brought that up, the prospect of it, as well as other council members. So I think it's something worth looking at. You know, good intentions have to, you know, be within the guidelines of public policy, of course. So we all want to do what we can, but we want to make sure that we're, you know, by the book as much as we can be. So I think it's a good discussion, and it's something we need to look at and figure how we can do this through the proper budgets or proper 501c3 or whatever have you, in case things like this come up in the future. I don't think this is something that we make a habit of necessarily. I do think if there were some very special circumstances along the lines of that situation, though. So I'll leave it at that.
Councilmember Arnold?
Okay.
Yeah, so the gratuities law is $25. So if we're doing 80, then we're still over. So, back to everyone's comment, and I agree with the comments that have been made before me. Maybe it is time for us to look at setting something up citywide as far as a foundation is concerned, because everyone knows that you're not gonna get any type of floral arrangement to send to a grieving family for $25.
Right.
That's just not gonna happen with all the tariffs and fees and everything else that's going up. So if we're doing 80, then of course we're still violating the law. So maybe that's something that, Mr. Denmark, you can bring back to us, where we can consider how we can fund that, especially since we're going into the budget cycle. And, but we definitely are gonna need some guidelines on, you know, who's going to manage it and things of that nature.
Mr. Denmark?
One thing
Hold on, Mr. Denmark, and then Councilmember McKenzie, then Councilmember Carn.
So there's a rule that talks about a legislator receiving a thing of value
for
over
$100.
$25. I think we're conflating that with the gratuities clause. Now, there are certain things that are in a gray area. Does this constitute a gratuity, or is it not a gratuity? And there's some gray area, I admit. However, if something is a gratuity, it could be $1 million or 1 red cent. A gratuity is a gratuity is a gratuity. We can't give away a penny of public money in violation of the gratuities clause. So let's be perfectly clear about that. The other thing I would say is that, you know, some things may be in a gray area, but some things just aren't. Some things just aren't in a gray area. Certain things we just cannot do. And I know sometimes, you know, we have control over multi-million-dollar budgets, and we see need, and being people of faith, being people of passion and conviction, we sometimes want to assist because we have the means to do so. But we are limited by the gratuities clause. And so, like I said, I think it's worth, because we've had this discussion many times over the years. And, you know, if we have a bereavement fund, I wasn't aware we had a bereavement fund. I don't know how that works because that may be problematic as well. And so I don't want to say it's okay because we took it out of the, we've already budgeted for a bereavement fund. Well, that might be a problem. So we need to take this thing down to the studs because, you know, we talked about it at the retreat. We've talked about it for years when things come up before this council. And so I don't know if the gratuities clause is as complicated as we're making it, but I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to try one more time because I think it merits giving you a written legal opinion on what we can and cannot do. And I will use this case as the example to talk about it, not in the abstract, but based on a concrete case that we're actually dealing with, because it is my hope that we don't have to have these conversations going forward.
Councilmember McKenzie?
Yes, and that is why I asked Mr. Hicks the question, did the money go directly to a family or was it paid to an institution, a funeral home, which it was. Now, I'm not saying that that makes it okay. But I am saying this whole situation is very, very, very sticky. And I really believe that we need to establish, Mr. Denmark, we really need to get clarity because, yeah, I like Councilwoman Arnold, thought that $25, because I think that was allowable until you have said this to us as well. So the fact that we have a bereavement fund that is funded by public dollars, okay, and it's in the city. Now, it's a different thing for the city to seek out a nonprofit organization and do a contract for that nonprofit to provide services or whatever it may be for families in need in the city. And that's where we need to, I think the question is, we have good hearts and we have good motives. And what disturbs me is when good hearts and good motives are made to look like demons and people who are just up to no good and corrupt. And and this is where the human element comes in, because every single thing we do in this city that involves community is using public funds for private individuals. So thank you, Dr. Wallace. He sent me that text as he's watching. And so we have got to just make sure that we give gift cards. Huh? We've done that too. We have given gifts, we have given items, and it's because of the goodness of our heart, but we want to make sure that it lines up with the law. And so I am requesting immediately that we get an evaluation and understanding, or whatever it is, a legal opinion, maybe given by several legal opinions, legal minds, on how we are to operate as a city, and even the understanding of giving monies to nonprofits or however we are to execute this. Because I don't think it's fair when we make an example of one person when every single person up here has done something for some member of the community, whether it was to buy a Chick-fil-A sandwich, because there's no amount of money in this gratuity clause, according to what you're saying. So if I buy a meal for a senior citizen, if I go to Proof of the Pudding and have them cater something for my senior event, am I violating the gratuity clause? And we need to have that clear before we start making an example of any one person that's sitting in these daises right now.
Councilmember Carn?
Last thing I say, and I agree with everything everybody said here. City Attorney, you make some fine points. One of the suggestions, I also think maybe perhaps forming an employee-fueled GoFundMe, things like that I've seen in other cities where employees may put together one of those. But you know, all cities run into this dilemma and do these types of things. There's a city in Georgia where I've seen police vehicles deployed at a funeral for officers, and half of the entire squad is out for 2 hours. The cost of the fire trucks that are deployed at several of our firefighters' funeral services, where we've had to have mutual aid coverage from another city to cover our stations for that 2-hour funeral, and so on and so forth. Folks, these things happen. They happen in all the cities. You know, we do food drives for those in need. When people have fires and are put out of their homes, I pick up blankets and whatever I can do, and I'm proud to try to do what I can. But the question is, you know, Mayor, why this city manager? The other city managers have done these things along these lines, and gratuities is a part of life. You know, those fire trucks offline for 3 hours lined up at a funeral cost big money, and that would be more than $2,600. But this is part of being human. This is part of working with people and supporting our staff and people.
Mayor,
So, you know, the argument can be made a lot of ways, but we do need to form something that's formatted and that, city manager and city attorney, feel like it's, something that covers us and is done more properly. So, yeah, it's a good discussion though, and I think we needed to have that discussion.
I want to be totally clear about why this issue right now. I asked for the detailed general ledger report on the accounts that those two contractual service agreements were coming out of. This line item for Atlanta Funeral Assistance LLC for this funeral service for $2,995 was listed in contractual services. I did not recall any discussion of that being budgeted or any discussion of that during the budget session. The idea that we are paying for a funeral service, full stop, is an issue that I see with the gratuities clause. That is why I asked about it this afternoon. I did not get an answer. That is why I brought it up tonight. We can go and say, this example here, this example there. If we send public works folks up to Tennessee to pick up books and have them do a round trip, is that violation of the gratuities clause? I don't know, but maybe we'll find out. But what I'm talking about right now is $2,995 spent on a private funeral. We don't have the authority to do that with public money. That was the question, why we did it, what happened. I understand that we all have hearts. We see things in this community every single day that make us, that bring us on the verge of so much emotion, and we want to help. That's why we're here to serve. We have to balance that within the confines of the law and our responsibilities of our oaths that we took to sit up here. That is why I'm asking the questions. It is not petty. It is taxpayer money, and I will always ask those questions. Councilmember Gay.
well, I mean, I want to state for the record, I don't think nobody's beating up on any particular department director or city manager. As a matter of fact, the last 4 were fired. That's the extreme case. So that's the extreme. They get fired. And so what we don't want to do is keep firing. And so what we want to do is to point out inconsistencies publicly so we can appear to be transparent, because if she has a question, there are other people who have questions. And so the media and the public and the naysayers, and they all at home watching, and they need to know that we are transparent. So I appreciate this conversation. That's what
Me too. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gilbert.
Thanks, Kristen.
I think it's my turn now, right? All right. So tonight, this council voted to impose restrictions on the mayor's office that no other person who's ever sat in this chair has ever faced, and restrictions that no other member of this body is subject to, and also run conflict with our charter. I want on the record that I've never objected to accountability. We just had a whole discussion about being stewards of taxpayer dollars. I welcome it. What I do object to is selective accountability, rules designed for one office, while the spending of others goes unexamined. We all have a responsibility to steward taxpayer dollars like they are our own. I raised documented concerns today about reimbursements with little to no explanation of public purpose. $500 worth of gift cards purchased. Receipts that were submitted for personal reimbursement when they went on city accounts. I'm sure we'll hear about it later. I'm sure we'll hear an explanation. But the money's been paid. I hope for the sake of our taxpayers, if there are any irregularities, if there were any mistakes, that the money will be paid back. none of the votes that happen tonight makes those things go away. The residents of College Park deserve to know that their money is being spent with accountability, with integrity, not just by me, but by every single person on this council and who works for this city. On a brighter note, happy Women's History Month. We are celebrating the impact of women who have shaped our community, our families, and our city. Often through leadership that doesn't always get the spotlight, but it always gets results. And so I hope you will join me throughout March as we highlight women making a difference in College Park and continue the work of expanding opportunity, equity, and voices of women and girls throughout our city. And in the spirit of celebrating women, I had a chance to sit with Belinda Charles, the owner of C'est La Vie Cafe, right before the weekend started for our next segment of the Mayor and Me session. So please look out for that as we move forward. And I want to thank our entire team for their work on the Black History event. It was lovely and a great celebration of College Park. Well done again, year after year after year. I want to thank Mrs. Phillips, Ms. Rodriguez, and all of the hardworking members of the Black History planning team to bring this event to fruition each and every year. I want to also congratulate Frances Kennedy, the Executive Director of Keep College Park Beautiful, on being named the 2025 National Recipient of the Sue Smith Professional Leadership Award by Keep America Beautiful. It is a huge, huge honor for her, and it recognizes her exemplary leadership and outstanding contributions to advancing environmental stewardship both here in College Park and across the country. And if you are interested in being on the Housing Authority Board, we have one more spot. So if you're interested in applying, please reach out to my legislative aide, Nia Williams. Her email address is nia.williams@collegeparkga.gov. And a couple other things, had the opportunity to join our colleagues from across Fulton County for the Council for Quality Growth State of Fulton County Address. It brings together partners from the north side, the south side, and in the middle to hear about all the things that are going on in Fulton County. We heard about updates on economic development, infrastructure, public safety initiatives, and fiscal stewardship, all of which impact our joint residents and talks about how we make sure that Fulton County keeps growing. And it has been a fast-moving legislative session under the Gold Dome. Crossover Day is this Friday, March 6th. So there is going to be a lot of action on a number of pieces of legislation. Mr. Denmark alluded to one. We are watching closely with the Georgia Municipal Association, where I serve as president this year, on the property tax and sales tax exemptions that are moving in both houses of the Georgia legislature. So we will, they are morphing by the minute. So what you could say about them, especially the property tax one, the homestead property tax one this morning, is probably different than what you can say tonight. But if you want to stay in the know about what's going on under the Gold Dome, GMA has you covered. If you go to gacities.com/advocacy, you can learn more about some of the issues under the Gold Dome. And that's all I have. Councilmember McKenzie?
All righty. I just want to say real quick before Kelly does the slides, the video, is that to those persons that have concerns about short-term rentals, we are really working on that, and we're going to do some type of a community conversation. And
this is
really
Dr. Jamel McKenzie
look
with
into
my
that.
March
I'm not
2nd.
Okay. All right. And I'm also want to say that it's been an amazing 2 weeks, which we'll see in the video. But I'm also very deeply honored and grateful to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger for recognizing me last week with the Outstanding Georgia Citizen Award, which was also given to me by State Representative Park Cannon. I also want to extend, because it's not in my video, I want to extend sincere appreciation to Governor Brian Kemp, Congresswoman Nikema Williams, Fulton County Chair Rob Pitts, Fulton County Clerk Shay Alexander, Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt, Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington, V103 Maria Boynton, Dr. Jazeel Robinson, and Bill Crane for your continued support of our community and being a part of our State of the Ward on last week. And as we celebrate progress and partnership, I also want to emphasize something that's equally important, and that is the circulating of accurate information in our city. Recently, there has been an overload of false statements, the altering of city property and documents, allegations presented as facts, and misinformation does not strengthen a community. It weakens trust. And I want to urge all of our citizens to seek information from direct, credible sources and to refrain from amplifying partial truths, as we've had several of those go through today. Good leadership requires integrity, and community requires responsibility. And it takes the whole village to build College Park better. And that village must be grounded in truth, respect, and shared purpose. And now the video. This is Dr. Jamel McKenzie with my March 2nd report.
Dr. Jamel McKenzie is joining us here to talk all about what we can expect. Good to have you back with us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Now, I want to talk about how things are overall in College Park right now, and then we'll start to dive in a little bit more.
Well, College Park, things are amazing. You know, I know we hear different things in the news, but we have really been able to accomplish some phenomenal things. On Main Street in my district, we're actually turning our depot into a historic museum and visitor center. We're getting ready for the FIFA games. So I've been working with the entrepreneurs and the businesses in the city. It's a great time to be in College. We lowered taxes.
That's a big thing.
We gave a senior exemption, so our seniors don't have to pay homestead taxes, you know, so it has been an exciting 25 months in the city of College Park.
Excellence is not a standard that we aim for. It is a part of who we are. And what we were able to accomplish in Ward 1 in 2025 did not begin on January 1st. It was cultivated over time. It was a divine alignment of timing, talent, and team, bringing together resources, backgrounds, experiences, and passion to bring into fruition what could only be accomplished through camaraderie, through belonging, through shared purpose, through common goals and values. It was community. It was an inspiring and committed group of people who understood that the assignment was greater than the individual's position to carry it out, and that building College Park better requires collective excellence. Now, my why and my how were formed long before I entered public office. They were shaped by growing up in a culture that believed in and practiced the American values of respect, family, trustworthiness, freedom, kindness, health, integrity, and happiness. My parents are hardworking Black Americans who refuse to be judged or limited by the color of their skin, but instead chose to live by the content of their character. As the middle child of 3, I remember being whisked from one activity to another, exposed to avenues, ideas, and experiences that stretched my thinking and expanded my imagination. They fostered my ability to dream, to achieve beyond what I could naturally see, to believe that nothing was impossible if I was willing to put in the work and refuse to give up. Growing up in a 3-generational family that migrated from the South to the North in the early 1900s, driven by faith, hope, and the belief that better and greater were always ahead, I was assured from an early age that all things were possible. On February 21st, we celebrated my father, Dr. James E. Spencer, on his 92nd birthday, alongside my 91-year-old mother, Joyce. 70 years together, 70 years of consistency, 70 years of stability, 70 years of modeling what strong, trusted relationships look like. I watched them excel in everything they set out to do. They prepared themselves. They fortified what they had intrinsically, internally, emotionally, and educationally, constantly demonstrating how to become the best version of oneself every single day. Their example taught me that excellence is cultivated, it is intentional, it is sustained.
And in College Park, Councilwoman Dr. Jamel McKenzie says she wants property values in her ward to rise. Dr. McKenzie addressing members of the community at the State of the Ward address. This was on Monday, saying that she wants to move the city forward in excellence. She also addressed some of her 2026 goals, including FIFA readiness and increased senior services and school mentorship programs.
Over these past 2 weeks, we attended the South Fulton Brokers reception with our intern Caruso. We went to the Tri-Cities Mixer, C'est La Vie ribbon cutting, the Georgia Black Legislative Caucus's annual gala. And then we went on to the GICC and honored Dr. Brunette Lindsay, Johnny Marie Williams, and Miss Raquel Goodrich, our shining stars. We end tonight's report with this message from our State of the Ward. So tonight, let the record reflect. College Park is not shrinking, we are soaring. We are not divided, we are determined. We are not reacting, we are leading. From the headwaters of the Flint to Georgia's front door, from our historic neighborhoods to our global airport, from our small businesses to international opportunity, we are positioned for greatness. And I stand before you, not simply as your councilwoman, but as a servant leader who believes with every fiber of my being that the best days of College Park are not behind us, they are ahead of us. So let us build, let us believe, let us work, let us rise together, because when vision meets unity, when strategy meets execution, when time, talent, and team move in alignment, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can stop College Park. And the state of the ward is strong.
Councilmember Card?
When strategy meets execution.
All right, thank you. A couple of things. The Black History Program was absolutely spectacular. It was colorful. It was so positive. If you were there, you could actually feel the positive energy throughout that room if you were there. And I just want to thank all of the staff and departments that helped to make this happen. The committee, Mrs. Beverly, Mrs. Willis, and all of the folks that helped to make that into a first-class event, one of the best Black History programs I had seen in this city. And we're just so thankful for being able to do that. And this city is making good history and positive history. Yes, there are naysayers that will make up false stories as much as they possibly can. But we have to keep moving forward in transparency, in decency, and doing things the right way. And we do our best at that every day. And I want to thank our hardworking staff for representing us well when they're out and about. And we certainly do appreciate all of your hard work. And we want to work harder to represent this city properly and to continue to make progress in this city with transparency, with accountability, and doing things the right way. A couple of things I do want to talk about. I did attend the State of Fulton County's address. It was very informative, and it really shows this region's progress, and we're a big part of that progress. City manager over at the GICC and Parks and Recreations, there are significant maintenance and improvement issues that we really need to look at and address. We received a tremendous gift from GDOT in terms of clearing the shrubbery and trees and whatnot in front of the convention center, the visibility in front of our areas unlike never before. However, we do need to finish that landscaping and make sure that we're looking right. This is what we call our citywide curb appeal. So we definitely need to make that happen, and that's something that obviously needs to happen and commence on before the next budget, obviously. We have quite a few major summer events and coming up along those lines. So we want to start to work towards making sure we getting things together and tightening up our front porch, so to speak. Congratulations to Mrs. Frances Kennedy, well deserved. Also attended the tail end of the South Fulton Brokers reception and made some pretty good contacts for the city. There are a lot of opportunities out here, and we want to start taking advantage of those opportunities and utilizing those external resources to expand things in this city and just overall improve the quality of life in the city. We touched on House Bill 942, the Clayton County situation. This morning I was down at the Capitol with Chairwoman Anderson, Clayton County Chairwoman, who some of us were schoolmates with. And she was very optimistic about how things were going to go. City Attorney, I'm assuming their premise is along the lines of our arguments before, where we had so many issues with the airport. So if the premise is along our lines, they're probably going to be victorious. I don't know what that amount's going to come out to, but it's going to be a big benefit to Clayton County, and I think there'll be a few pennies in it for us as well if we're lucky. $50 million upwards of that, even if we're looking at half of that, folks. We're working and we're making sure we're working with our community partners. I certainly supported Ms. Anderson becoming chair, and she's done a spectacular job. That's what a city-county partnership looks like. We talked today about how we navigated through the airport issues, the third-party factors, where those business enterprises, the claim was, just a little history for y'all. Essentially, the airport's claim was, well, if you have a parking deck at the airport, well, that's a function essential to the airport function. And, you know, the answer is yes and no. Could the airport operate without it? Well, yes. There are other modes of transportation to the airport. You can take MARTA in. You can take an Uber. You know, you can catch a ride. One of the premises was once a third party is farmed out to handle that business enterprise, that puts it in a different category. So there are a lot of intricacies in terms of the airport intergovernmental relations, and I've been through a lot of them, and I'm glad to see this coming back around. And the airports, they're nowhere near broke, so they're not going to miss a beat. $50 million, you know, to them is, well, they bring in a lot of money at the airport. I'll just leave it at that. But I'm hoping for the best with that. A couple of other things I did want to touch on that I think I have to actually touch on. We heard a lot of issues and arguments and discussions up here, but they were all good arguments and good discussions. And this is how you work through good governance. Government's perfect? No. But we're moving forward, and we're all, I think, working to do the right thing here on this DS, as well as our city attorney, city manager, and everyone else. But there are questions, there are challenges. There were a lot of questions about, you know, do we want to allow boarding rooms, you know, or not? It's a good question, and we're going to have to make a decision. Do we want Airbnbs or not? Do we want protocols for Airbnbs or not? You know, do we want College Park split pads? Do we want airport crash pads? You know, all of these housing issues have one thing in common. Excuse me. That's rental and how we approach rental. Obviously, we're a rental city, 75% rental, upwards of a little bit more than that this year, actually. How much more rental do we want? I mean, there's some HOAs that restrict rental. So there's some things that we can do. Can we outright restrict rental properties? Georgia does not allow that. But there are certain zoning classifications that may be able to limit that. So we need to get creative in terms of what we want to do and how we want to do it. A couple of other things I did want to touch on. working together, trying to get along. We don't agree on everything, but at the end of the day, I think we come to pretty good medians and situations that work, and we work through our issues and challenges. We try to work together and we try to get along. Folks, believe it or not, we do listen to each other, even when we disagree from time to time. But we do listen to each other's concerns and try to incorporate them into the decisions we make. I listen to the mayor's issues, and a lot of the times we agree. So in an attempt to accommodate the mayor's request to appropriate funds, I believe that we came up with an acceptable mechanism that works while not violating our policies.
Just a chart.
And we did it. Please don't interrupt me. I did not interrupt you. Thank you. We worked together tonight on that because I was listening, and tonight we gave the mayor a selective option to afford her that ability, and this is something we've given no other mayor. And that is what we've called progress, and we haven't. Check the record. We have not. But we have issues where sometimes we disagree as well. Now, I pushed for, as much accountability and transparency regarding the approval of a lot of funds. Now, my friendly amendment did not pass, but hey, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But I did hear Councilman Clear when he said those checks and balances are in place and are going to be in place through the city manager's office. And we're going to move forward in transparency with accountability for every dime. Misinformation and lies are not going to go away, y'all. But, the cure to that type of nonsense is the truth and the facts. And speaking of the facts, I guess we'll get this cleared up right now. City Finance Director, you want to come on down for a quick minute here?
Mayor, can I ask for a point of order?
I'm in the middle of my comments. Thank you very
I thought
much.
that we as a body agreed that we would not bring our staff down here because whatever is gonna be the comment, I don't know if the staff member is prepared to answer. I think it's a disservice to bring staff down during the comments. of
Hold on
Mayor
one second.
Council.
Are you prepared to answer whatever question he's asking you?
I'm not sure. I don't know what the question is.
Well, Mayor, it wasn't whether she was
Okay.
comfortable. It was my position as the senior councilman that we should not bring our staff down here unprepared. It's just not.
Well, if you want to make a motion.
Excuse me, I'm in the middle of my
He
comments.
said it's a point of
They're
order.
comments.
It's a
They're
point of
not-
order.
They're comments. They're just that. They're
Mi-
comments.
We bring
Councilmember,
our
Councilmember,
staff
if you'd
down
like to
here
make
all
a,
the
you,
time.
Councilmember?
And
you
they
said-
answer questions for us
Councilmember-
all the time.
Councilmember
No,
Carn,
I
hold
mean-
on one second. Stop.
This
Councilmember Gay, if you'd like to make a motion, you said a point of order. What's your motion?
I want to make a motion that we need to, I don't want to make a motion. I want to make a comment.
Wait, the point of order is you.
The point of order is, we just talked about moving forward. Why are you gonna ask somebody to come down here that's had all week to be prepared? Ain't no telling what he about to ask her.
Okay, all right.
I don't think it's fair.
But that's not a point of order. Go ahead, Councilmember Carr. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, City Finance Director. All right, so essentially, I wanted you to explain what the story was on this website I saw in terms of I had taken money and funds misappropriated and the whole nine.
Mayor, point of order.
No, go ahead. Let her finish. Go ahead.
Mayor, if I might.
If Ms. Hammond, do you have a response? Hold on.
I want to hear what he has to say, what the point of clarification is.
Thank you. Again, Ms. Hammond, we did speak about this issue earlier. Could you kind of explain essentially what happened concerning this check and with finance?
Regarding the Home Depot receipts.
Yes.
This is inappropriate. It's
Hold on.
inappropriate to
Wait,
be
hold
bringing
on.
staff
Wait.
down here,
Council
asking them
member,
about,
council member, please let her.
bring it to executive session.
It's not an executive session item. Go ahead.
Transparency. We want transparency.
Ms. Hammond, go right ahead.
Okay, so the issue with the $1,034.90-some-odd, the money was paid back. It was paid back by Councilmember Carn, a total of $1,035. So it did get paid back to
Okay.
the city.
And Ms. Hammond, can you explain why did that money have to be paid back in the first place?
Because it was an overpayment that finance did in error. So that's why it had to be paid back.
And the folks, for the record, that occurred before Mrs. Hammond was here, when Mrs. Lindell Miller was city manager.
Oh, wait,
I just
wait,
had
Ms.
one
Hammond. Wait,
other.
go
one
ahead.
other-
He's got one more question. I've got a question
one
for
other,
you.
question for you. City Finance
Question.
Director, just a question about finance policy. So if the city issues a check in error, inadvertently, and it's given to someone, say a city employee, and that check was cut in error, what is that employee obligated to do?
Pay the money back,
And alert finance that there was a mistake, is that right?
correct?
Okay, was that done?
Excuse me?
Was that done by me?
I don't know. I just know that the money was paid back.
Well, it was within a couple of days. And that's what I would expect any city employee to do, obviously. Just wanted to set the record straight so that there was no misunderstanding in terms of when you hear something in the news or on a website. This was someone built a whole website about this, built on just a bunch of false facts. But it was an impressive website. And I said, it'd be great if someone spent that kind of time putting together a community website for positivity. Ms. Hammonds didn't even want to be heard, and this is what transparency is about. So, I definitely appreciate it. I just wanted to set the record straight on that. I think I had one other, thank you, Ms. Hammond, so much.
Did you want to set the record straight on the
I
other?
appreciate it.
other
Mayor, you
purposes?
had your comments. I'd appreciate it if you would not interrupt
Ms.
me,
Hammond,
please.
please.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just wanted to make sure.
Let's respect each other, and please don't interrupt me again. I did not interrupt you. Last thing I'll say is, again, we're not always going to agree, but we're going to move forward doing the best that we can and make sure we're doing things that the community would be proud of up here. Again, we seek good governance, and I think everybody's intention up here is for good governance. So we're going to continue to move forward and make progress for this city. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Arnold?
Thank you. So I want to start by piggybacking on a couple of things that have already been said by both of my colleagues in reference to mis and disinformation. Because this was something that I addressed at my last town hall. I would imagine that everybody sitting on this dais and sitting in this room loves this city. We want to see this city move forward. We want to see it progress. We want to see developers come. We want our taxes to be low. We want our homes to continue to hold its value. Yet, we allow individuals to come and disparage our city, talk about it, go to the news, tell lies, and don't correct it. And if we are that concerned that some of these allegations are true, then last year and the year before, I advocated for us to have a process in place to have a full ethics board where citizens can put in their complaints and have full investigations. So what we need to do as individuals that live in this community, that love this community, We need to stop having people talk bad about our city.
That's right.
It has to stop, regardless to who it is. We cannot afford to let our city be dragged through the mud because of people being bitter or things not going their way. And we definitely cannot allow individuals to continue to lie on people who have sacrificed their careers, their lives, their time to represent the people of College Park, to then just be dragged through the mud for no reason. So again, if you are concerned that someone is doing something illegal, underhanded, breaking the law, we have an ethics board with individuals who don't even live in the city of College Park. They are each lawyers. They know what the law is. They know what we should and should not be doing. And so, I'm very concerned because we have our own citizens coming down and making accusations of things that are just not true. And I'm not going to stay there for long. I just want to make sure that we all understand that there is a mechanism in place. So moving along to the things that I participated in representing the city and Ward 3. Everyone knows that a couple of weeks ago we had our CCMA meeting. That's the Clayton County Municipal Association meeting, where Mayor Fluellen is the chair of that committee, and she brought updates to us from Clayton County Chairwoman Anderson Henry, and some projects, some upcoming projects that she's charging each one of the cities, the 7 cities in Clayton County with. One in particular will be for us to, to have, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for Mayor Fluellen to give us the update. But just to know that we are already on track because we plan to have our comprehensive plan put in place. And so economic development plan is going to be requested of us as well, especially for the portion in Clayton County. I had the opportunity to also participate in a women's leadership conference earlier last week. I was gone for a few days, and the theme of that particular conference was from one to many, reminding us all, and we are sitting here as a majority women's council here, to remind us that as we are moving upward, we have to remember to reach back to the next woman, to pour back, to mentor, and to know that we are being watched, right? Others are watching us as a living example of how they should move as young women. Last week, I had the opportunity to participate in the Government Advocacy Day for King Elementary School, for magnet schools, and they are looking for us to support this magnet schools in Clayton County. King Elementary is a very unique elementary school. It focuses on botany and zoology, and it was amazing to watch young people taking care of animals and plants. They even had their own community farm, which was actually a hydroponic garden. And then I felt really proud to have met another individual who represents Clayton County Schools. I consider myself occasionally as a unicorn. You don't find too many African-American women that have a physics and math degree. And so the superintendent of teaching and learning also had a physics and math degree. And so, of course, we connected. But it was amazing, really, honestly and truly, to watch the kids. We have some amazing young people coming up through our public school system. They're very bright. We have a bright future, and I'm looking forward to participating in that advocacy day for them again, and to writing a letter of support for additional funding for magnet schools. We all participated in the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus Heritage Gala. It was good to see my colleagues there. It was an amazing event. It's always good to see you all out in social events. We dress differently, we look differently, and we get to engage in a different type of way. The Black History Program. I just cannot continue to say how pleased I was with the work that was put into that program. Thank you, Dr. Willis. Thank you to you. Thank you to Beverly Rodriguez and the entire staff, the volunteer committee that put that program on. It was impeccable. And to be able to highlight the people in the community that are actually doing the work. They're helping to make our jobs easier. They're helping us to be able to tell the story. They are actually continuing to write our history on a daily basis, and they're contributing to our communities. So thank you. Thank you for that impeccable event this weekend. And then there are a couple of things that I learned, and there was a comment that was made by the interim superintendent of schools for Clayton County Schools. I want to make this comment, and then I want to say something about staff before I finish. And his reminder is that we need to think about, before we open our mouths and before we start talking about what's going on, we need to remind ourselves that we're all on the same team. We are all on the same team. We may not always agree on how we're going to get to a certain point, but we are all fighting for the same people. If we have someone that we consider to be an adversary, that would be someone that is fighting against us doing right by the people. We are all on the same team. My last comment is in reference to the staff. We have to do better about our staff's salaries. It is not fair that our staff members are working 2 and 3 jobs just to make their ends meet, to live in the city of College Park. When we go into our budgeting season, we need to look at how we're paying our employees, especially our first responders. We hear it all the time that while we get the opportunity to run away from danger, they have to run into danger, but we refuse to pay them what they are worth. We cannot go into another budget cycle without addressing that, and without addressing staff salaries, period. Thank you.
Councilmember Gay?
Well, great comments from everybody. I had a lot to say, but it's done kind of changed now. It changed. But I want to say something that I agree with my colleagues. In 1994, I amassed a medical business. We did occupational health care practices. And I raised $1 million in 1994 from Citizens Trust Bank. Long story short, we partnered with Morehouse School of Medicine. We built the first school of occupational environmental medicine, all of the great stuff. Big house, cars, trips, Bermuda, tailored clothes. The guy came to my office one day. He says, "Man, how you get this? You're a dope dealer, right?" So, that's in 1994. So my point in saying that story is this job comes with ridicule. You gotta have to know that you signed up for a job where you become a public figure. You get to be targeted. You get to not be liked because you signed up to be a public figure. So, like, it's a gray area between, look, I had to sit up here for 10 years for the award not liking me. I had to earn their respect, and the only way I earned it was by consistency. I think this council need a quality of life raise. I mean, I know y'all got other income streams, but still, you all put a lot of work up here, and, you know, getting a part-time check every 30 days, you know, that's I don't know, that's something that needs to be revisited. Where our colleagues in Atlanta, you know, they riding around making I mean, it's just, I don't know who came up with this structure. But I do want to remind everybody that we do have some really serious things that we do have to deal with. One of them is the City of Atlanta Aviation is expecting us to get into $30 million debt. That's a lot of money. And we still have an Attorney General investigation out there. And, you know, we got a delegation that could drop a bill tomorrow on a strong mayor charter. So, you know, while we're in our feelings, we need to also know that we got a serious responsibility and to take this job serious. And so I just wanted to, you know, bring us back to reality on that note. Jasper Williams, I used to go to his church, and one thing Jasper said, I don't know if anybody from old Atlanta, but Jasper Williams said one thing: did I go to jail on the weekend? Did I get caught with cocaine in the car? Did I kill a man for sex? He said all of it was true. He said all of it was true. So my point is, you know, if everybody's saying the same thing, if everybody keeps saying the same thing, it ain't just them talking about us. We need to get our house in order. Because everybody don't keep saying the same thing over and over again. I'm just gonna say that. You know, I respectfully. The Bill Evans Field was supposed to have closed in November. And that was $1.5 million. And we took our community, I'm talking about Ward 4 now, we took our community enhancement money and parked it. So we didn't have no out of control spending. We just thought we were gonna have the money back by now. And that's why that parking lot, so I need Bill Evans Field to close so we can get our money. No, it wasn't no uncontrolled spending. It's just that we relied on a closing that hasn't happened as of today. The next thing I want to tell you is that, speaking of the General Assembly, I asked the legislators to introduce a vape shop legislation that can't be close to church. Anybody heard anything about any legislation they introduced for us on this? I haven't.
We can do that.
Huh?
We can do that.
It's not too late?
I'm saying we can do that.
We can regulate vape shops.
In the distance from a church.
I just don't think that we need to regulate vape shops. I mean, it is just, I mean, in my ward alone, when you go into gas stations, this is the whole wall. It's the whole wall. It's tobacco products. And it's just not wholesome, in my opinion. I asked a merchant, I don't want to get ethnic, but I asked a merchant, I said, would you do that to your daughter? He came from behind the counter with a stick. He was that offended. But you doing it to my daughter and my children. Every time we walk in the store, they got to look and process all of this stuff in there. I don't think that's cool. You can't do it at a racetrack. So why you can do it at sub-tier gas stations? I don't care. I don't care if you give me a dinner, whatever. We need to limit these vapes, all this stuff in these gas stations.
I agree.
It ain't cool. The dog park, I want to thank my colleagues. What y'all don't know is that none of this can be done without y'all. I don't care what you say. Without you all, we get nothing.
That's right.
I mean, you just don't know the anxiety I had coming into this meeting tonight. You see these bags?
Yeah.
But God put it in Councilwoman McKenzie, Honor, and Mayor. Y'all, you know, you didn't go, you gave in, and now we got great projects. Another thing I want to say in closing is, look, don't be scared of money, okay? I mean, look, there are organizations that deal with billions of dollars. Billions. Why we scared? And every time we do something, it's horrific. Man, look. The Atlanta Botanical Garden is spending $100 million to go from 10th Street to Monroe. $100 million. You know good and well them people don't got to spend that much money. But that's just how they move. That's the world they live in. The world we live in is we trying to put everybody in jail by the end of the year. Like it's monopoly money. So I do agree that we do need to be cool and be careful, but we do need to go easy on the rhetoric. Because I will tell you, the FBI told me when they was trying to lock up Bill Cameron, you know what he said? It ain't illegal to make your friends rich. It ain't against the law, believe it or not, to make your friends rich. If you do business with your friends, you just did business with your friends. That ain't a federal law. It's called favor. I mean, their elected officials that retire from office has sent over $500 million to their cities. Do you think they walking around broke, hungry, depressed? So I just think we need to put it in perspective what we're trying to do up here. I don't think nobody's up here trying to deliberately get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I just think we're doing, we didn't get a rule book with this job. That's right. We got one, but it's outdated. So we're doing the best we can. And last I want to say is I want to thank Giannis for hosting us. But y'all should also know Giannis hosted the TradeCon. ThriftCon?
ThriftCon. It's ThriftCon.
And he thought he was going to get 1,500 visitors, and the man got hit with an unprecedented amount of visitors. But it was so flawless, you never would have known. That's just how they move over there. That's right. And then that night, my frat brother had a masquerade party, and it was flawless. So y'all are doing an amazing job, Giannis. And I'm going to leave you out, Lance. Lance has done an amazing job in his leadership with that dog park and Phillips Park and y'all park. Mm-hmm. When Lance called me, he talked about all y'all parks. That's right. I said, Lance, I don't care about their parks. He still be talking about y'all's parks.
He's fair.
He's always talking, but Lance does an amazing job, and so kudos to Lance for his cool leadership.
Cool.
And making sure that he serves us all with integrity. So, Mayor, that'll be my minutes. I'm sorry if I let down the watchers that we didn't have an explosive comment tonight. It can't always be,
Before I take a motion to go into executive session, I want to apologize to Councilmember Karn for sharing information that was incomplete. None of us are perfect. I got the information through an open records request, and I apologize that it didn't tell the full story in regard to those Home Depot transactions. And I look forward to hearing more about the remainder of what I posted. But in regard to that Home Depot transaction, I apologize to you publicly because I don't want to put erroneous information out to the public. Is there a motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of litigation and personnel?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Karn. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.